And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 258. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, just in a little bit, after we have our usual guy bro conversations you guys all know and love and enjoy, we're going to talk about another MCU movie completely flopping at the box office, actually costing the studio millions of dollars. That is going to be our topic for tonight, because on the previous episodes of the MSK show, when Thunderbolts came out, or the New Avengers that they kind of retitled out of desperation because the movie flopped opening weekend, I actually told everyone we're going to talk about that movie's box office after it's pretty much over, because that way I could solidify how big of idiots I was talking to online, where they said, this is the literal line of logic they used. They're like, well, I actually enjoyed it, so that means it didn't flop. And I'm like, okay, we are talking to literally the lowest common denominator of human being on this planet. Two things can be true in the world, people. I want you guys to adopt this mindset. Let's just say this. You can like Batman versus Superman, okay? You can actually like it. No one says you can't. But if you told me that that movie was actually a profitable, successful movie for the studio, that's where I have to disagree with you. You know, right there. Two things can happen. The amount of people that told me that Thunderbolts was actually not failing, I'm like, that actually did worse than Brave New World. I mean, rightfully so. We should have done Brave New World because it was not a good movie, but Thunderbolts actually did worse than that. And that was considered a flop before it. That's horrible. If anyone doesn't think that was a flop, I can't help you anymore. I actually can't help you. Your mom should have swallowed you. It is what it is. You know?
Brave New World had the caveat of having a Captain America in front of it. So that alone should bring more people in just from that name alone, because the first three that came out of it, were successcul. So
the problem was nobody wanted to see Captain Falcon, though.
That's true.
Yeah,
that was the biggest thing. The Captain America title wasn't big enough to carry. And they even, shoehorning in the Red Hulk there, which that should have been saved for on-screen.
True. Yep.
That should have been saved for theater only. They should never have advertised that. That should have been something that came out and it was just this big selling point. So then people could go out and talking about like, oh, this thing happened in the movie. But
and what's worse is
sell it on that because the movie was so poorly received.
Yeah, and what's worse is like because you put it into the trailer, you see a good 5-10 seconds of it. You only see like 3 minutes of it, so it's like shit, man. You already spoiled like a bunch of it that you're gonna see, like the reveal, and
that was like the best part of the
reveal.
Movie.
And there's it's like 3-4 minutes tops.
Yeah, that entire movie boiled it down to that 4 minutes or so, and that was the best part. And I have to say though, that was one of the marks you can give for that movie, because it was truly a really, really bad movie, bad acting, except for Harrison Ford. He always does a really good job. But the CGI on the Hulk was probably the best I've seen a Hulk look. Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is just garbage looking, but it actually looked like a freaking Hulk. Like make him green, he looked more like the Hulk than Ruffalo's Hulk looked, and that was the best stretch of the movie. Was just that fight scene. Everything leading up to that made no sense. The villain was bad. The story was not compelling. It was a bad movie all around.
And they also did they did the typical new Marvel thing too, to where the way to defeat the super overly strong villain is to talk to them. You just talk it out.
Right.
Calm down. Don't be so mad. Like
Marvel literally went with the whole anime trope of like, I'll just tell people this. If you've seen Naruto, and I have, it's one of my favorite animes, the whole talk no jutsu thing is a meme, but it's not like a funny meme. People actually don't like it because it actually derails logic itself. I'll just use an example here. So Obito, okay, he's a murderer. He literally murdered a lot of people and started war. Then Naruto basically went, hey, you're a good, there's some good in you. You were at one point a good guy. You were one of us. And he was like, yes, I actually was. I can now be. Do you know how much logically stupid that sounds? Yes, what I just explained to you is actually what happened in the show. No one likes that. That would be like if Goku went up to Frieza and was like, you know what? I know you actually committed complete genocide. Like you're basically space Hitler, but there is some good in you. I heard you donated to.
You donated $1 to the homeless dude outside 7-Eleven, man. There's good totally in you,
redeemed.
Bro. Come on,
so that
totally acceptable now.
So the equivalent of what Ronin brought out is like, imagine if the first Saw movie's big reveal at the end of the movie was revealed in a trailer instead of you actually going to see the movie and you seeing it on screen for the first time. You witness the ending of that movie. It's the same thing like that. I feel like a lot of movies recently have just basically been spoiling everything in the trailer. I can't remember a movie where I've seen the trailer and you basically haven't seen the entire movie. Like Trap had it really bad. Blue Beetle did it. I mean, I haven't seen Blue Beetle, but I can pretty much tell they revealed everything in the trailer.
The most egregious one that I've ever seen was still I think it was Amazing Spider-Man 2, where at the very end where he's throwing the sewer grate at Rhino. That's literally the very last shot of the movie.
I don't even remember.
You put
that
it in the trailer.
Yeah.
You put it in the trailer. Like, what are you doing? That's insane.
Trailers are too long. That's what I've been saying for a long time. Like, these trailers are going almost 2 minutes, 59 seconds. That's too much. Like Shazam 2, everything is like, what movie hasn't had everything in the trailer?
The best trailer that I've seen in a long time, and the movie's actually coming out this week, is 28 Years Later. That trailer is the best trailer. Like the way the sound is, the sound design, the way the shots are synced up to the music and everything. That it just looks phenomenal. I mean, I'm hoping the movie lives up to the hype of that trailer, but that's the best trailer, as far as I'm concerned, that I've seen in probably 4 or 5 years, give or take. Maybe more. I would have to think about it, but
I might be the only one that doesn't mind the long trailers, because honestly, in my mind, I dig the long trailers because I'm anticipating the movie, and I like the way trailers are constructed. I like kind of just seeing a preview of what the movie is. I've never really been spoiled or had a movie spoil me by the trailer. In fact, when I go to see the movie itself, I've pretty much forgotten most of the trailer anyway, and I get immersed into the movie. So like, I might be like, oh yeah, I remember seeing something like that, blah blah blah. But the trailer has never really spoiled anything for me. When it's just, I don't know, it's something that doesn't bother me personally.
Yeah, trailers can be they can either be, so one second, just because it's on the top of my mind. But when I was thinking about like movies spoiling stuff, but I thought like what was done really well was like let's look back at like The Dark Knight, right? And if you think about the trailer, actually the trailer only shows like the first 45 minutes of the movie. There's actually like not any shots towards the end of the movie in that trailer. If you're gonna do it, go ahead and show some of the beginning of the movie. Do it like that. Maybe there's like one shot or something here, and don't spoil anything with it. But you can throw that in there. And I'm kind of hoping the same thing with like Superman, the trailer that's out right now. I'm hoping, because it's only like a 2-hour movie, I believe it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes. But it's like, if that's only showing the first hour of the movie, there's gonna be like an hour worth of content or like watchability in there that's gonna hopefully make everything make sense, type of deal. But if they do stuff like that, I don't mind it. But when they show too much in it, it can be annoying. Like did you guys see Companion this year?
Yeah, I saw it.
Nope.
So Companion, like the first trailer on that, like there's no reveal. Like you don't actually know what's going on. The second trailer that they dropped gives away the whole fucking movie. Like it was like there's a massive twist in it that kind of happens pretty early on anyways, but they just give it to you in the trailer, and it's like, dude, don't do that. Like that the first trailer was so intriguing and I was like invested, and I'm like, well, now you gave it away. I like to guess and have fun with stuff like that, but if you do stuff like that, it gets old.
I think part of the problem is that they don't think that the movie's going to sell without giving that big reveal. Like, I don't think they thought Captain America Brave New World could stand on its own. I think that's why they revealed the Hulk. Because if like you said, Ronin, that was the best part of the movie. Without anybody knowing that the Hulk was going to be there, I don't think you get that excitement opening weekend where people can go see it. So they were hoping to generate some excitement and get people out that opening weekend. But well, like you said, the movie was trash as it was. But
what a double-edged sword is that they realize to themselves, hey, if we don't show this, no one's gonna care. But if we do show this, then it derails the momentum of the movie after it's out opening weekend. That's crazy. It's actually borderline insane.
It blows my mind, because it shows that like the studios are aware of like the public like discourse against like what's going on with the MCU and all that stuff. So they're aware of it to a certain point, but they don't actually put that into the movie. They don't change the movies. They don't fix what's wrong. They're aware of it. Like that's why we get the trailers and stuff that we're getting, or like the character reveals and the big moments and stuff. But they won't sit there and actually fix the problem. They're like, well, we know what the problem is, but screw you.
I gotta
pay us anyways.
I gotta give kudos to the writers of that movie, or just the way the movie was put together. Even though it was a bad movie, the twist that the Red Hulk was in it was a great twist. And if that was just saved for the theater as you're watching this movie and nobody's expecting it to happen, and then you see it, that would have been a very good moment that could have actually maybe word of mouth helped that movie without revealing the Hulk ahead of time. But I don't know if it was the test screenings or whatever, but they know the feedback. They're watching social media. They're following all that stuff. The kicker for me is that I don't understand why they're not changing things as they go forward. They're just kind of like getting by, and I don't know what their bottom line is for profit. Like we look at numbers and we're like, it takes $300 million to make a movie and double that for advertising, so you got to make over $600 million to even break even, and another $100 or so million in that to make a profit. What do they really look at, though, that's satisfying to them? Where we look at it is like, man, this is a flop. This is a failure. Something is obviously working behind the scenes where they're continuously and confidently making these movies and not trying to make them better and better. I think Fantastic Four is going to have the same issues when that comes out.
Yeah. So, like, from what I've read after everything I've been looking into with how movies make money, all that stuff, it's hard if you count this. So from the few executives that have talked about it, so like, remember that movie Elemental came out and it actually flopped opening weekend, but it ended up doing better to like kind of break even. One of the executives at Disney had said that a lot of people like us, they do that where they only count what's in front of them. But like what he ended up saying basically was, we have to account for basically selling this movie to like, a few of the broadcast networks and streaming services. But the problem with that line of thinking is that it's not like that I imagine that's a lie, because big movies like what's that channel that always plays like the big movies after a few years after they're like FX? It was like FX, right? So FX would air like Infinity War after 2 years after it came out, but they would be like, but we sold this to them, but we don't know how much they're selling these movies for. So I can't use a stance like that without having numbers to back it up. And keep in mind,
I want to know that. I really do, because that would shed a little bit of light on why,
like you said,
they don't
TV
ever
sales
really.
Too.
Yeah, exactly. If they're adding all that, if it's a greater vision and they're really going down the line, and it's not just the theatrical take worldwide, then they're going into how much do they make off the streaming services and then all this kind of stuff. I would love to see the numbers, because we sit here and we think like they've got to make a change here some point, because you think that this is going to be hurting their bottom line, but apparently it's not, because they keep doing the same thing over and over again. And Fantastic Four, I had hoped for, and I'm not even a big Fantastic Four fan, but I had hoped that this was going to be a movie that was going to kind of be the right direction, because I'm excited about like Secret War or Doomsday and Secret Wars. It seems like those could be good big event movies, and I'm like, this could be the movie to kickstart that, get some excitement going. And then just the more stuff that comes out about the movie, the more I'm just like, oh, it's the same old Marvel stuff we've been watching for the last 10 years that we've been complaining about.
I told people the same thing. It's gonna come out and it's gonna do a little bit better than Brave New World and Thunderbolts. I
think so.
I honestly think DC and Universal that's gonna do Jurassic Park 7. I think you have nothing to worry about. The MCU recently, by the movies they put out, with the numbers that have appeared at the box office, from what we can see as the final total numbers, there's nothing to worry about. The MCU's not like, okay, if you released your movie when theirs comes out, then yours might fail, theirs might do better. At this point now, literally, Brave New World and Thunderbolts benefited from no competition, and they still managed to not do it.
Like competition in July.
The only smart thing that Fantastic Four has done so far is release their ticket sales about 2 months early. Like that's the earliest thing that they've done, and it's because you got Jurassic World at the beginning of the month, and then right after you got Superman. Those are two powerhouse movies. Like, I don't care how people feel about the Jurassic World films, they make money. That's
going to make good money. It's absolutely going to make good money.
So you got that, and then you got Superman. Those are two big things. And if you think about like a nuclear family, say a family of four or whatever, you're looking around $150 to $200 per movie that you're going to. That's even putting it lightly, you know. So if you're looking at 3 movies in the month of July, you're looking at $600. A lot of people don't have $600 to go watch movies for the month, you know. So you're gonna either pick one movie or you might pick 2. Which one are you picking?
Black people on welfare.
Okay, well, and there you go. Maybe Fantastic Four will do really well in its second week because it's dropping at the end of the month, and EBT and all that shit hits on the first.
Dude,
so
Black people only showed up for Black Panther. That was the only MCU movie they ever talked about was Black. They only showed up for Black Panther. That's what movie they talk about. So before we get into the topic later on, they couldn't afford that. That's too good for them. Which is crazy. If you told a random black person on the street in the hood that the same director that directed Black Panther directed Sinners, they would probably just call you the N-word. They'd probably just please. So before we get into the topic, basically after you guys can clout chase off me. Joking. So before we get into the topic,
back. I'm still listening. I'll be right back.
No problem. So before we get into the topic tonight, which is basically be shitting on Marvel, which I love to do as my pastime now because they literally ruined their entire company. I still will never. That has to be documented how they got to a point where they became the highest grossing franchise ever. Like they've taken, I think, $36 billion.
Wow.
That'll never be beaten ever. It's still going to actually increase with every other movie that's going to come out after that number, right? But our featured guest tonight is Ronin Joe. So you probably remember him from my original YouTube channel that might have gotten retcon New 52 style a long time ago. Basically, YouTube took it out back and DC Comics it. If you guys get that joke, actually. He's been on the Iron Man podcast a long time ago.
Yeah.
He had a first appearance on the MSK show a few months ago. He's the guy that did Reaper Destroyer. He had an Indiegogo campaign that finally finished. He did the whole 4 years waiting. He made people wait.
I made him wait.
4 years. Keep in mind, he is married. He has kids, so he's obviously successful in his own life.
Job,
me, rich, tall, good looking, same wavelength, obviously. He's a huge Rob Liefeld fan, and he probably loves the way Rob Liefeld shits on Marvel constantly. It is actually pretty funny. It's actually hilarious. Remember after Thunderbolts came out, he saw the numbers and he went, Kevin Feige spent, get him off the mount.
He's been going hard, man. I like it. Because you need a voice out there. I've been good, man. Yeah, Reaper Destroyer finally finished up. We got all of the orders are in the mail, or will be. No, they're in the mail. They're all in the mail. So I'm getting excited to ramp up for Reaper Destroyer issue 2 in the fall. And just gonna try to catch up and just enjoy being done with the campaign. Getting, the campaign's great. I love making comics. And I love all the people that supported the campaign as well. But after a while, it's like a monkey on the back, right? Like it's like all this pressure and like all this stuff. Like you're trying to get it done, trying to get to the finish line. It takes forever, seems like. And now that we're finally there, I can celebrate a little bit. The pressure's off, and now let's just move forward and keep on going on. But yeah, you've been getting a lot of great reviews from the book. People seem to really be digging it. So I'm interested to see how the second campaign is going to do. But doing really good, man.
Hell yeah. And we just had Father's Day. Obviously, I can't celebrate that because, black, but all of you guys got a chance to celebrate Father's Day.
You didn't get like a pack of Newports in celebration or something?
No. I basically got told, hey, you can leave work now.
And he went out for
There you go. There you go.
You can leave this job and never come back. And then
No, I came home and watched one of my favorite esports teams basically throw a whole series away and lose a trophy.
Oh, yeah.
Great. So no dad, came home and watched my team just completely getting on their fucking knees and throat goating the other team. Awesome. It's awesome to see that, actually. But it's okay. I have the tools to cope with whatever life
throws. Is that the new Bonnie Blue video? Is that what you were watching?
We're not talking about her. We're not talking about that disgusting freak. That she got banned from OnlyFans.
I know, it sounds right up your alley. Like, come on.
Is that blonde chick that bangs all those dudes?
She got banned from OnlyFans because
getting piped down by 1,000 dudes in a day. Yeah.
Okay.
She wanted to do this stunt where she wanted to be a human petting zoo. So if anybody doesn't know what that is, that's a thing where basically she would be like tied up naked and she could have like random guys come in there and just, I'm pretty sure you guys could know what happens.
Wow.
In that. Yeah. Apparently you can't do that.
If you hear random echo on the stream, it's nobody's mic messing up. It's just the echo from her vagina just blowing back at everybody. Like,
imagine that. OnlyFans.
That shit's blown out, dude. It's crazy.
Oh, jeez.
Just imagine that. OnlyFans, a completely degenerate basically porn website at this point.
Yeah.
We have standards. You're not. Yes, it's so crazy how OnlyFans, the disgusting, degenerate porn website, says you can't do this, but they allow girls that are be like 18 years old to just go in there and just start sucking on some hot cock. Like, what the fuck? What? Yeah, I'm glad you have standards, OnlyFans. Get the fuck out of here. I hate people do that. It's like, you're a degenerate company. If that's super degenerate, it's like, I don't know. I hate when things like that. At least if you're going to do that, at least be consistent. No, but that's where we draw the line at a human petting zoo where a girl just has dudes come in there and fuck her. Yeah, but you allow orgies. What? I don't get it. I literally don't get companies at all. My brain is fried. Yes,
crazy.
We draw the line at human petting zoo. Yes.
Did you ever hear like the way that they originally sold OnlyFans? Like, it wasn't actually supposed to be adult content. It was like, this is just a way to get out there and do whatever you want, and then it just immediately turned to porn. Like,
yeah, it got taken over real quick. Because I think the original idea was not that bad of an idea. It's almost like what's that other?
Well, I mean, it's like YouTube or whatever, but it's a little more open sourced or whatever. Like, you can do whatever you want here, and it's like, oh no, they just
Patreon. It was kind of like a Patreon site, right? Except it was taken over by porn.
Yeah, and instead of taking it down, they were just like, you know what? Let's run with it. We're making way too much money because there's a bunch of look. It blows my mind that people, for one, I mean, ever since even when I was a kid and the internet became a thing, porn has always been free. There's always a way to find tons of free porn. So paying for it, well, I was like, that's never going to be an option to me. Like, I don't understand how people go out of their way to give money to a specific person. Also, in case, and this is free game for anyone out there, if there is an OnlyFans model you like, you just type in their name and then you type free right after the word or whatever their name is. And ta-da! There's somebody out there who did it for you. You don't have to pay for any of that shit. Like,
I'm just amazed.
So it blows my mind.
I'm just amazed by all this because I remember having to watch the scrambled porn.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember downloading like topless pictures with like 56K, and it'd be like, okay, in like 3 days, I'm gonna check this shit out, man. Like, like, all right, I'm gonna leave that on that download, and I'm gonna come back on Wednesday, and that shit's gonna be there, and I'm gonna like that picture. Like,
see, that's when you actually had to work for it.
You literally had to work for your porn back in the day, guys.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So what you're saying is we appreciated it a lot more.
I'll say this: you guys run this era too. I spent my lunch money on porn DVDs. Dudes would sell them at school, and we'd buy them like after school.
You were buying dudes porn tapes. That makes sense.
No,
that makes a lot of sense. MSK, you're buying dudes porn.
All coming out.
Dudes at school would sell porn DVDs, straight porn, obviously. And I paid like $5 for a DVD. I would watch it when my freaking mom would leave to do like whatever she was doing.
I was waiting for you to say with your friends because that would make a lot more sense.
That's the joke. You thought I had friends. That's fucking crazy. That's actually insane. You're like,
guys, come on
self-deprecation. Keep it going.
That's gay. Oh god. So speaking of shitting on the MCU, OnlyFans, and straight porn, Bob, who's not been here in 2 weeks, and he left me like my dad, but came back for a little bit just to leave me again. I know you went through some recent tragedies. Sorry about that, man. I know how you feel. I really do. But I'm rooting for you to get through it. Don't worry. I'll always be here by your side every week, every Monday.
I will say it's good to be
for back. 2 hours.
He's always here to where, if you ever feel bad, you can look at what MSK is doing and be like, at least I'm not that fucking guy. And like, you'll just feel immediately better all the time.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Ed Sheeran. Okay. All right. It's all good.
I don't have red hair. I mean, I might be able to sing like him terribly, but
you singing that would break the windows. So let's not try that tonight. It's okay.
Let's do it.
Good Lord.
There's a lot of whistling involved. It's a tragedy. You don't want to hear that shit.
My wife had a whistling asshole last night after we had sex too.
Yeah.
So Bob, how you doing?
I saw it on OnlyFans.
I gotta say, there you go.
MSK wife free on Google. Like, go check it out.
Is everybody muted?
Oh no, I was waiting for Bob to explain this weekend.
No, it's good. I will say it's good to be back. Like you said, I did have some tragedy. My sister passed away a couple weeks ago. So this is
condolences,
brother.
Good
to be back, back into the swing of things, and I needed a couple weeks off to take care of some stuff.
Yeah,
took some time off from work as well. So it's good though to be back into the swing of things, and just glad to be here and having fun with you guys.
You mean it's good to be black? Black.
Oh yeah,
that's how it works. Our resident clout chaser at the bottom. He's worse or way unattractive than me. Gets less women. Channel content could use some work. But he is buffer than me and bigger. So seeing this guy in real life, he might beat me up, which would be a hate crime. I have the law on my side now at this point. How you doing, Cyfax?
Oh, I'm doing good. Apparently, better than that fucking intro. Like,
where's your cat?
That was awful. Dude, she's just yelling at me. Well, because I've been gone for like 4 days. And I was talking to Bob and but before this started, and a condolences to Bob because losing anybody in general like that's obviously a massive tragedy. Obviously, I like to joke around and just shoot the shit and try to be jovial and whatever, but tragedies happen, and that always sucks. And I was saying, I'm like, man, he went to he just dealt with something bad. I actually just went through something good, which was my cousin got married. I went up to Yosemite and I went there for her wedding, and it was a beautiful wedding. So I actually had a wholesome moment because the last time I saw any of that family was for 2 funerals. So it was like my grandpa and my grandma died like 10, 12 years ago. So that's how long it's been since I've seen a lot of these family members and stuff. And so going from that to like a wedding, which is all nice and wholesome, and it's like one of my favorite cousins, she married a great guy and everything. So I actually had a really nice weekend. But still, it's like I come in and Bob's like, man, I went through this. And I'm like, okay, shit. Like, I'm sorry, brother.
You're like, I'm not sure if I should say anything.
And I was like, damn it, man. I was like, all right. But still, I had a really good weekend. And man, it's nice to see family I haven't seen in a really long time, and to see it that everyone is doing really well. So I don't know what else to say about that other than I'm glad everyone's doing awesome, man. Like,
did you miss me?
It's always
about me when you were with your family.
Well, I mean, there was a cliff that I was walking near, and I was like, this would be a perfect place to push this motherfucker off of. But it's up in Yosemite. No one would find you in like 17 years. It'd be crazy. I'd get away with it. To be
wait, don't we have Death Valley here in California? We have that here, don't we? I think.
Well, that's a desert. Yosemite is way up in the hills.
Oh my! Cyfax flirted with his
or if you would go by what Trump says, it's Yosemite. I've always liked that clip, even though I might be, let's just say I might be a supporter, but I've always found it funny when anybody misspeaks in general, and I always thought that was one of the funniest misspeaks that he was like, yeah, up there in Yosemite, and I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Cyfax, did you flirt with your cousins?
Oh shit!
No.
It's like
I did that once.
It's here in California, and I understand it's liberal, but it's not Alabama.
It's not Alabama. Alabama is crazy.
Alabama. Yeah. I mean, I would have racked up some numbers in Alabama if I had family out there. Just because that would just be the typical norm, wouldn't it? But no. And on top of that, like I'm on the wrong side of 30. And even my little cousins or whatever, it's like they're 19, 20, so they have their friends around. Don't get me wrong, they're cute, but I'm like, they're way too young for me. Like I have this a 5-year gap where it's like it's either 5 years younger, 5 years older type of deal. So I have like that 10-year thing, and I'm like, none of you are even close to 30, so no.
I'll go with a 15-year gap. Yeah, I'm in my 40s though, so
I mean, I'm here. Well, yeah. you guys are married, so that might be a whole different thing. But it's like I'm not even married, but it's like
there you go.
I still have standards and a principle to myself to where I'm like, look, I can appreciate yes, you're pretty and you're a good looking young woman, but I'm like, I couldn't do it. Like
The young women
might be able to give me a
crazy.
couple drinks, but yeah,
they're good to they're good to look at. But the young women are
it's like I can appreciate you look really good or whatever, and you're keeping yourself in shape at 20. Great, but
I love how that's
I'm fucking 36.
This guy's such a fucking
Jesus
piece
Christ.
of shit. Yes, I love how you look very good. Now, could you please suck my cock?
I literally never said any of that.
I would say that. I mean, I'm not now.
Oh no, Ronin Joe's saying it. Yeah, I'm not saying that at all.
A mouth is a mouth,
That's true. That's true. You know when girls really do say that guys will fucking, I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the only truthful things girls will ever say in their entire lives. There's at one point we've all lowered our standards to sleep with a woman that's less attractive than us. We've all did it. It's okay. Girls are right about that one. I'll give you that one.
But no woman has lowered their standards anywhere as much as any woman that's ever touched MSK. So I mean, at least we don't know those women.
It's not true. I went to the gym one time and this lady messaged me on Facebook. She was like, "I saw you at the gym. You're looking pretty hot." I was like,
"Oh shit!"
I thought it was in a movie. That's never happened. I was like, "All right." I mean, crazy, right? Because girls will always see me and be like, "Wow, he got it going on."
Were you working there, cleaning up the jizz stains or something in the showers, or because you're definitely not working out? You're tiny, motherfucker.
What do you mean? I used to be buff. I started going back. I can only go 2 times a week.
Dude, just looking at the weights doesn't mean you lifted them. Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. It's okay. It's okay. I still got it. I can still bench press a decent amount. I still got it. I'm old, so my body's broken at this point.
I was just going to say
you can barely lift your ego. What are you talking about?
The age thing takes a toll, Like I can go back and be like, man, in my early 20s, man, I used to be toned and ripped and hitting the gym and all that stuff. But I was never one of the big fan of taking pictures of myself, so I've got no evidence whatsoever
that ever existed. I never did it. Yeah,
and so I can just talk about it.
I have
but
one picture when I was 25. One picture when I was 25, and I cut down like 70 pounds, and I got like pretty jacked. I got one fucking picture out there because that's like when I meet a dude who has like a ton of pictures on his phone or whatever, like I'm like, that's weird, dude. Like I find that super weird.
My early 20s was still right before the selfie thing became very popular, when everybody started to do it. It's just kind of something that was starting to happen. So I never thought about it. It was just like, this is it. This is life, But yeah, I don't even get to live in that glory being like, look what I used to look like when I was in my 20s. Like, nope, it's just a myth now.
I got a few pictures right after basic training, but that was because someone else took them. It wasn't something like,
I went from like a long hair rocker and everything when I was in my 20s, and then I gained a bunch of weight, and then I lost.
You went to rock bottom. That's where you went. You can only go up from here, man.
I still get laid more than you did. I mean, all it takes is a guitar sometimes.
Hey,
no, that's
my
serious.
My hand will always satisfy me. My hand will
100%. It's 100% true. Like they see what your fingers can do on that, and they just assume. Doesn't mean it's true, but
it's just the band thing. That is not even a trope. That is a legit thing. All right, because I was 100%.
I had a van, like a rapist van, and I was still
tinted windows, But so my band was called My Name.
I had blinds in mine. That's how old it was. It had pull down blinds. That's how old and ghetto it was.
They're doing crack. We were an independent touring band. We went all across the country and did whatever. We played a lot of times in small bars. We did some festivals, some bigger venues and stuff like that. But it didn't matter. It's just the fact that you were in a band and you roll into a town, you roll into a bar or whatever. It was just like chick magnet. That's it. I mean, you all you had to do was have some long hair, some tattoos, get on stage, do your thing, and you always had some attention. It was crazy. Like, it's not even trope. Like, that is absolutely true. Not that I was in a band for chicks. It just was.
I don't even know who has tattoos nowadays. That's crazy. Like I don't know anything about that. Right? That's crazy work.
I will just say this for any guy out there that doesn't know how to pleasure women during sex. Always using your fingers and your tongue more effectively than your dick can always make them go crazy. Just saying, No experience.
Right, chill out there, limp dick. It's okay.
Yeah.
Whoa. I got 8 inches. I'm packing better than that. Like, it's the problem with women is like, it's actually the inverse. People think bigger is better. No, the average woman literally only prefers like 5 to 7 inches. They don't actually prefer bigger, like the way they see it in porn. So if I'm packing 9 inches, I'm shit at the look. God screwed me.
I mean, you're basically saying women don't prefer you if you're gonna make that.
Yeah.
That was my choice to be born.
I thought that was a given before he told us the size.
That's a different story too. Two things can be true, and we said that before the show started.
Yeah, like once you open your mouth, the thing about using your fingers and your tongue, it would mean you might have to talk to them in general, especially opening your mouth. And then once you do that, all things are off the table. They're just like, no.
I'm saying, man, it's hard to make a vagina explode. You got to use your fingers really fast, and they're like faster. It's like I can't go any faster.
My wrist hurts. You're like,
yeah, right.
Like I'm seeing Miss Sparkles in chat. Look, I'm not making any assumptions. I'm not throwing away, anything, behind the scenes. But we both left for like 3 or 4 days off the internet, and there could be something there. There could be something there, even though we're totally different states and we definitely didn't go to the same place. But I mean, she likes to make a bunch of stupid fucking memes about me, but they're hilarious. Actually, they're super funny. Have you seen them?
My one saving grace,
she's my favorite,
that I have is at least all my band photos and stuff are still online, so I can at least go back and be like, see that one time when I had long hair and I was rocking and all that cool professional pictures that are up me on online, that still exists. But the whole young ripped body, that doesn't exist. So now I'm overweight in my, I'm a middle-aged man. That sucks to say. Damn, I just depressed myself.
I know what you mean, man.
I just say I'm on the wrong side of 30. I'm on the wrong side of 30.
That's not how that works. I told you guys this. Men get better with age. Women get worse.
That is true.
Yeah. So technically speaking, well, not Cyfax, he's a cloud chasing bastard, but all of us here, we're on the right side of where men's history should be. I actually really like that men are able to talk about certain things now, because it felt like whenever you brought up not just women, anything, and people were like, well, you're just a fucking blah 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 blah. But now we can actually legitimately have a conversation with it now. Like, are women the problem? It's like, yeah, kind of.
Sometimes.
MSK met me 2 months ago. What was your wording? Yeah, I look like a bouncer or whatever. Like, and you were like, I would never want to fight that guy. I don't know. I might be bigger than MSK. Just there might be a chance there.
I'm overweight for what I was always at. Like I was always slimmer, toned, and so once I quit music and started, became a dad, got the dad bod thing, I'm at a weight. Yeah, I'm not fat or anything. I'm at a weight that I don't like. I've always used to be slimmer and toned. That's what. So I call myself. I'm trying to do it for motivation, so I can get off my ass and start doing some cardio. I'm out of shape, that kind of stuff. I've been drawing for too long now. I'm just sitting on my ass doing that stuff. So, yeah, that's what I mean. I still look damn good. I'm still very vain about myself. There's no. I was a lead singer. Come on.
How often do you go to the gym?
I don't go to the gym.
Don't go to the gym anymore? Okay.
Dude, I don't have time to do really anything except work, family, work on my book, and then stream. That is it. Like, any other extra time.
You're doing too much, dude.
Well, I'm actually about to go on a vacation, so I do have some time for that. But trying to fit in like exercising or any of that kind of stuff that I did when I was younger, it's just like,
oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, like you already have a set routine going on, and then when another thing you want to add in, you're like, man, I have to justify extra time in putting this.
That's what it is. Yep.
Oh God.
The only time I would have is if I got up like 2 hours early, and I'm not going to do that because I want to sleep.
Yeah.
I can walk down the stairs wrong and throw my back out, so I'm not trying to do any of that shit anymore.
It is.
Well, I drove by the gym the other day, so I feel a little bit better.
I drove right by it, right next to the Pizza Hut next door, and I fucking chowed down.
Good Lord.
I've at least got a treadmill. I don't get on it, but I've got it, so that makes me feel good. That I could.
Dust collector maximum over there.
It's currently collapsed under my daughter's bed, but it's there somewhere. I just gotta get it out one of these days.
Like I own one, I swear. Like I just gotta, it'll take you 3 business days to clear off all the dirt and grime off of it, but it's there.
Oh, gosh. No. I think what always generally motivates me to go to the gym is I just genuinely enjoy working out. People always said that people do it to show off. Like, sure, you get to do that as your results, but I genuinely always because I just always enjoy working out. I enjoy lifting weights. I enjoy pushing myself every week.
Oh, yeah.
I also, used to watch a lot of movies back in the day. And you see a bunch of buff guys like The Rock, and I was like, I want to look like that.
It is,
like,
man.
Yeah.
MSK is like, one day I want to be able to jerk that guy off, and that's that was his that's what he was aiming for.
That's just homosexual.
You know what motivated me to work out when I was younger? Because I always tried it when I was in my teens and never really had a lot of success. I didn't get really motivated until I got to about 20, 21 or so. And it was the fact that I remember seeing Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds. And remember that movie where it was like the most jacked buff he ever got? And my girlfriend at the time was just in love with him. And I liked him just because I thought he was a funny actor. But I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I want to look like that. And that was one of my motivations. So I hit the gym, started working out. And I got pretty damn close. And then I realized that the more I worked out, the more attention I started getting from other women, which was a bad thing. And that started me down a path that was really bad for a number of years. We won't go into that, but yeah, that was it. All you need is a little bit of motivation.
Time to unpack, right? Time to unpack it all. Women are trash.
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's get into it.
See, for me, it was something completely different. I finally realized that it's for my security why I let myself go, because I realized that fat people are harder to kidnap, and to this day, I have never been kidnapped. So
perfect. Yeah, that makes I like that. Actually, that makes me feel good. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm good. No, but when I was younger, I used to do a lot of running because when I was in the military, I'd run like 6 miles a day. I used to run all the time. I loved it. And then when I got out of the military, I just stopped doing it. And it's just been hard to get back into it. And then now that I'm older, I don't have the motivation to get up and go run. And then right now it's 100 degrees outside, 105 degrees. I'm like, I don't want to go out and run in this.
Well, you need that energy. I mean, when you're younger, you have that energy in abundance. You don't think anything of it. Like I had so much energy when I was in my early 20s, and I had time because I was, dating a girl. We were living together, but that was it. No family, nothing other than just working. So I could work out whenever I wanted, and it does when you get into that mode and you start feeling healthier and you start feeling stronger and you start being able to run longer and do all these, longer workouts. It's a mental thing that's great. I mean, it's really good for your mental state as well. But yeah, when you get older, the fuck time do we have? Energy is gone, man. I get off of work, man. I am beat to shit.
What was that saying back in the day? I remember adults used to always say this. There's not enough hours in the day. And that actually
all true.
The more you get older,
true.
Whatever happened to sayings? Everything now is just a buzzword. We used to have like cool sayings that we used to have, but everything.
Yeah, our parents had the greatest sayings, growing up. No, I agree with you. Yeah,
no one knew.
It was all true too.
The most true thing that like my mom and grandma ever told me growing up was like every year gets faster.
Yes,
and like it feels like right now we're already halfway through this year, and I was like, dude, I feel like we just heard about the election. We're already halfway through the first year or whatever. It's like, and I felt like that happened just the other day. And that's the most true thing that they've ever told me, and it's true. Every year, just it feels faster,
speeds up,
and it's like, and what's crazy is I feel I even sleep less. Like I can't get good sleep at all, but it's like I'm sleeping less, and my day still goes by faster. So I'm like, it doesn't make sense. The numbers aren't numbering, right?
Dude, I don't know if you got kids or anything, but once you have a kid, man, everything speeds up so much faster after that as well. Because you're just man, my daughter was just born like a couple years ago. No, she's 6 years old. Like 6 years old.
She's 6? I remember when you first came on, she was 4.
So I don't have kids,
man.
I don't have kids, but a lot of my friends have kids, right? And like every time I go to talk to them, I'm like, "Oh, how old are they? Like 6 or 7 now?" They're like, "Dude, they're about to graduate high school." And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I had another one of mine. I thought I
saw you last month, and they're like, "Dude, it's been like 3 years." And I'm like, "Okay, my timing is way off." Like,
as you guys know, my friend James, he's had his nephews. I remember when they were like 6 years old. They just graduated this year. They graduated 2025. Wow. I was like, wait a minute. We used to babysit them. I was like, what the fuck happened? They're even taller than me. What the heck?
One of the things that threw me off was one of my the cousin that just got married, her daughter graduated 2 years early. So she graduated at 16. So every time that I've seen her since then, I'm just like, aren't you like 21 yet or whatever? And she's like, I'm fucking 19 or whatever. And I just went up there and I'm like, I thought you graduated high school. And she's like, all right, I graduated early though. Like,
R. Kelly would love to have a word with you.
No, like, well, because I want to go and buy her a drink. Like, come on, let's go have a drink together. Come on, like.
All right.
Who doesn't do that with your friends, your family, whatever? Like, that's
Diddy.
the thing that you do.
Diddy did that too. He had drinks with a lot of people. You know?
That is true. That is true.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're looking at it like that, but I mean, it's like, dude, anyone that that turns 21, like, hey, man, let me buy you a drink.
You would
like,
take him out. Yeah,
that's making me work.
That's
you turn 21. Oh, yeah.
That's when you're allowed to actually. If I was gonna be like, hey, you're 18, let me get you a drink, that would be fucking suspect.
That's true. That would be a little bit. Yeah.
Unless you're in like Ireland, or
that's
something.
when you do it. Yeah,
yeah. And it's just
that's a rite of passage, though.
It's a respect thing and a rite of passage. There you go.
No, the funniest, there's that black guy that does the whole like he plays two characters. There's a skit he did on his channel called Batman versus Diddy. Diddy just threw baby oil on Batman. He just collapsed. He was like, "Oh yeah, time to get some Meek Mill." It's like, oh shit! I was laughing so hard. I was like, "Yes, Batman can beat Darkseid. He can beat Superman, but he can't beat Diddy and baby oil." I was like, "Okay." So one of those random things you look at, you start laughing out your ass. You're like, "What the fuck?" Like the episode of South Park where the cop he wanted to break dudes for prostitution.
Oh, God.
He had sex with all of them, and he blew the cum out of his ass by shitting in a bag.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I saw.
Oh, that was Stan Marsh did that. He goes to bust a prostitution ring, and he just gets railed by a bunch of dudes.
No, remember the first one?
He's like, here's all the evidence, and he just shits in a bag.
In the first one, he got in the car.
It's terrible.
He actually did the actual spit sound effect where you do to blow someone. And oh my god, he was like, "Yes, Daddy, I love the way you stretch that."
What the fuck?
Wow! I was like, all right, talk about getting in when you talk about doing your job well. That's all right.
That's dedication to your job.
That's going undercover. If you're a cop and you're really blowing a dude, that's going undercover. That's crazy.
Yep.
All right, but speaking of blowing dudes, speaking of something that's actually blowing at the box office and not doing anything.
Dudes, have you ever been to an MSK stream? Like
oh well, it's not Tuesday. What the hell? It's Monday. Also, moving forward, I did get some kind of good news, but it kind of ruins a future thing. So next week, I'll finally have 2 days off in a row again, because right now they're separate. It's Tuesday and Thursday. I'm actually going to finally have a Monday. I've not had a Monday off in like 10 years. Wow. Ever since that one time I called off and I was like really, really sick. Other than that, I've worked every Monday that I can imagine since I got out of high school. And I'm going to have Monday and Tuesday off. So I don't even know what to do on a Monday. What do people do on Monday? What do I got to do with that? Everyone's at work. Yeah, everyone. I don't know what to do on Monday.
I hate having weekdays off. That that's the worst because everybody's working. There's nothing to do.
Yeah,
like one of my favorite work schedule was it was Tuesday through Saturday. So if I had a Monday off, I could do regular stuff like go to the DMV or dentist appointments or whatever. So it's like you have a regular day that nobody else is off, and so you can do all those type of things. I didn't mind that at all. Like during the week, because everybody else is working, you can take care of random bullshit like that. But I understand, but even still, it was like if you didn't have anything to do, there's fucking nothing to do on a Monday, and nobody's gonna be like, "Hey, you want a day drink like on a Monday?" Like, I mean, I'm going to anyways, but I mean, do you want to join me? Like,
you are an alcoholic. I think it's a little different there.
Well, I mean, come on, dude. You can't be an alcoholic, unless you drink from the morning to the night.
And don't get drunk.
Okay, fine. I might be an alcoholic.
Yeah, there you go.
It would always surprise me.
Let's get it all out.
How I would head out for work, and there'd be like these old dudes going to bars at 9 in the morning. If you're going to a bar at 9 in the morning to drink, you must have a lot of money, or you're a lonely dude, because that's crazy. 9 a.m. to drink. Is there nothing else you could do with your life besides drink at 9 a.m.?
Nope. Not for them.
So my grandma used to work in an Elks Lodge, right? And if you don't know what an Elks Lodge is, it's kind of like the VFW. If you don't know what VFW is, I'm sure Bob does. It's Veterans for War.
Yeah. Okay.
Elks Lodge is kind of like an offshoot of that, but it's the same deal. It's like it's a bunch of people who are veterans in a way, and it's just a place for them to hang out. And my grandma would work there, and there'd be this one dude who would show up like soon as it would open, and he would stay there all day. And then she eventually asked, like, hey, what do you do for work? And he's like, oh, I'm an inspector. I get paid, like, he got paid like $150 an hour or something crazy. Like, he made stupid money. But she was like, but you're here every day. And he never explained how he got paid. He was just like, this is how much money I make. And he just somehow got paid. And I'm like, that's what I feel like some of these people are doing when they're in government positions or whatever. They're just like, oh yeah, I'm literally out getting drunk all day and getting paid for it. And then I show up at like one job site and I just say I worked 9 hours. Like,
sounds about right.
Yeah. Oh man, the funniest one out here that I've ever seen was so there's a bunch of workers out on the road, right? So they have the cones out and everything. They're messing up traffic. That's fine, whatever. You're supposed to be doing road work, and they're out there, and there's no machines around or anything, and there's just two dudes with flathead shovels on asphalt. Nothing to break the asphalt open with or anything, just flathead shovels. And I'm like, you guys can't even like take a spade shovel and make it look like, look, this is all we got. We're gonna make it work. Obviously, it still wouldn't work, but they're out there with flathead shovels, just like, we're working. And they were there for like 3 fucking hours with no machines there to break open anything.
Wow. Just there to watch.
Yeah, they're just watch
it's like the street for a while.
We're gonna look like we're working. It's like there's nothing you can do with that shovel. Like, you can fucking tomahawk throw that shit into the fucking concrete or into the asphalt all you want. Nothing's happening. But that's the kind of road work you get for your tax dollars right there.
Where you give it dudes rides home, you pick it up to dudes on the side of the street. That's what you're doing?
No, I was driving by on my way to work, and then when I left the job site, they were still there, and nothing happened. There was just dudes standing around with shovels that are not the right kind of shovels, even if you wanted to do them. Like, there's nothing you could do with it. Like, the equipment they were holding wouldn't work in the scenario that they were trying to portray it as, and it would. They're clearly just doing it as like a show. Like, oh, well, God, we got to look busy. You look like a jackass. Is what you're doing.
Whoa! It's like okay. I will say this: people that do this are really cringe. When people just randomly, like how you're just like walking outside, you're just going like to like a liquor store or whatever. You'll see a car driving down the street, and they'll rev up their engine really loud, and there's literally no one around. No one cares. That's one of my biggest pet peeves when people do that. People just rev up people will literally, I shit you not, in my area, my city's, it's not that big, but like it's a decent sized city. People will ram through to this liquor store like,
yeah, MSK. What's the demographic on that one?
And it'll be like loud as fuck. I'm like, who are you revving this engine for?
Is it an unnecessary amount of Hellcats and Challengers or what?
I would like to not stay. I like to not like get thrown into a dumpster. I like to live. But I was just say, like, motorcycles, I understand it that those are loud engines, but randomly you'll just be chilling in your house. You're like sleeping in the night. You'll just hear a giant engine. You're like, what the fuck? It's so annoying. I literally hate it. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves of people rev up their engine so loud, especially at 2:00 in the morning. Like, who are you trying to impress? There's no one outside but meth heads. What the hell?
Dude, where I'm at, right down the street, there's a spot that apparently is like infamous for like street racing, and so they put like mini little speed bumps in it, and they still just drive right over them. So like, yeah, I've been on stream before, and you can hear it in the background where it's just like people doing donuts and shit. They're just like, well, instead of street racing, we're just gonna light this fucking random corner up and just do donuts instead. And it's so annoying, and they still do it. And right down this, like, I don't know, maybe a half a block away from me is a police station, like right there. None of them ever get arrested or anything. You never hear sirens going off chasing them. Never. They just show up at like 2 a.m, or because sometimes I stream pretty late and or like on my end. But yeah, they don't give a shit. They're like, oh, but what about these bumps? They don't care about those either. They still race over them because it's not a speed bump. They're like these little they're like it's like an annoyance on your shocks. Like that's all it
watched
is.
way too much Fast and Furious, and they're like, I can do this too. I'm like, it's always white
They
and
do
Mexican
it.
guys.
They
No
do
black
it.
guys can afford those cars.
That's a
Those
good
are-
point.
Those engines cost a lot of money. Just saying. Someone told me how much. I was like, okay, that's a little bit out of my price range. I'll just buy a regular car. Just something that's regular. It's fine.
Yeah, Fast and the Furious ruined it for everybody.
Why didn't they ever go Super Saiyan? Like, dude, I remember people want to talk about race in general. So do you remember there was rumors back in like 2018, 2019, that period where Julia Roberts was supposed to play Harriet Tubman in a biopic?
Don't remember that at all. No,
that was. Thank God those rumors got squashed quickly. That was actually a rumor, a very big one too.
There's no way that would have ever happened.
There's no way.
No way. I mean, that's just like a like that is a straight rumor. No way. Although like I kind of want to see it.
I just
kind of cool. I kind of want to see what would happen.
There was the other one where Transformers was supposed to like cross over with Fast and Furious. That would be pretty fucking cool. If you want to revive Transformers, you bring Fast and Furious over. Vin Diesel riding in Optimus Prime. That's cinema to me.
Dude,
right there.
So I actually got to meet Paul Walker when I was about 12, 13 years old when the movie came out, like when the first movie came out.
Yeah.
And there used to be, if you guys remember these, the like LAN centers, so that's where you'd go and play on computers because not everyone had like great internet and stuff. And so there was this internet cafe type of thing. And when I went in there, I was really good at Diablo 2 at the time. And I helped him run through the Tyrael thing, like the Tyrael quest on Diablo 2. And I helped him through it because he didn't know what to do. And then he bought us a fucking In-N-Out. He was the nicest fucking dude. Like, yeah. Like, so I was like, I have a cool story about that dude. And then it was sad to hear that he passed.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
And Too Fast, Too
It was
Furious.
cool. I have an awesome story of meeting that dude.
No,
he was super nice.
In when they filmed Too Fast, Too Furious, the part where Brian goes and gets Roman, they actually filmed that in my city. They blowed off the bridge for. It was close. I think they filmed that in one day. At least it was the whole bridge was closed down for 2 days when they did that scene. I know that exact place they filmed that scene at too. It was crazy. I could have literally seen them do it. When he says I ain't going back to that city, that's what they filmed it at. They filmed it in my place. Yeah,
dude. I was rewatching The Accountant 2. You know that movie that just came out a couple of months ago with Ben Affleck and John Bernthal. It's on Amazon Prime right now for free. Well, if you have it,
check it out.
And there's a scene at a bar that they go to, and that's my local bar. Like it's the bar that I go to. It's the literal bar, and then when they take off down the street, it's the little street I live on. So if anybody wants to find me, like there you go. There's an easy way to find me.
That's my house.
I'm doxing myself on that one.
Hey, World Climax, the climax of that movie where they
they're
rescue all the kids. That happens in my neck of the woods.
Oh God. I'll just say, hey, when I'm in your area,
I'm on the border, so
when I'm in your area, I'll be driving around my Lamborghini, hot girls in the car. You know, they'll be
there you go.
Thumbs, you know. But speaking of, a franchise that can't get you, like, back in the day, I would be able to bring a girl home and we put on an MCU movie, probably like Thor or something, and then she'd be, jerking off my hammer. But now you come over, now you bring a girl over and you put on an MCU movie, they're leaving. There ain't no Netflix and chill anymore with these MCU movies. But we're gonna have some fun here. Just a moment. Because I can't wait to shit on the MCU. I love it. God, it's such a favorite pastime. I fucking love it. These people just turbo their own franchise to death. And then today, James Gunn is like, it wasn't their fault. It's James, I like you, but please stop. Yeah, it wasn't their fault. The people that made the movies that made the franchise suck. Mind-blowing. Actually mind-blowing. Yeah. So let's get down to business. Oh, God, I love that movie.
To defeat.
God. They don't make movies like that like they used to. Oh my goodness. Well, don't watch that live action Mulan movie. That'll make you want to hang yourself.
I never have.
It'll literally make you walk out of a plane.
God. I think I saw 10 minutes of it, and that was it.
Then you wanted to walk out of a plane. See, there you go. You were like, I'm not going to cause imminent destruction amongst my fellow human beings.
And it's like, oh, I saw Snow White on an in-flight movie, and I walked out.
Yep, you might have crashed in a very whatever. It's okay. It's okay. One would hope, could Rachel Zegler sing to a polar bear and it wouldn't eat her?
No, it's not eat her. Yeah. It's like it would be A show and a meal. That's what it would be.
Good Lord.
So,
Well,
One of the only-
did any of you guys see
Mandalorian.
Snow White? Because
Yeah.
I actually watched Snow White. Did any of you guys actually
I
watch it?
saw it.
I've seen
That's
it. Yep.
the joke.
Oh my! There's
No, we didn't
scenes where
watch
her
it. No
hair
one
is
watched it.
like randomly moving and shit. Like there's random
Obvious
shots.
green
where
screen stuff.
it's not even green screen. It's like the wig is off.
Oh, sorry,
And
my bad.
and then
Yeah.
she's doing
Yeah,
that like she's like doing the lower jaw movement where it's like jutting out. Like,
Oh, God.
and like that's
yeah.
all real. Those are all real screenshots that people got. And it's
I know.
hilarious.
Yeah.
What's
I remember
sad
when
about
I saw
movie,
that
it was even
movie.
the worst part.
I saw that movie. I saw that right off the get go because I was like, why is she doing that with her face? Like, I don't understand. Like every time she tried to do like a dramatic thing, she'd be like, her jaw would just go to the
It's just
side.
like, man, like you look
Yeah.
like a meth addict, like cringing, like waiting for your fix. Like,
Yeah, and then sure enough, there was all the memes started hitting after that. And I was like, all right, everybody saw what I saw. You know,
And before we get to the topic,
so I
Polar
just
bear.
need an apple.
Polar bears, one of the only animals that actively hunt humans, which is crazy because
that's true.
It's crazy because you would never interact with one of them
Those
in
fuckers
your
are
entire
huge,
life.
too.
Yeah, that's actually insane. It's also insane. I'm gonna get a little bit tangent later.
Tangent.
The fact that women would pick a bear over a man is actually insane. Remember the whole thing of like, who would you rather be left on an island with, stranded? A bear, a grizzly bear? It was a fucking grizzly bear, they said, or a regular man. It's like,
Who the fuck said that?
women literally chose the grizzly bear. I'm like,
That's feminists.
Well, maybe a grizzly bear in the forest, maybe because they would be so confused they would want to go find their own environment. Because maybe, but no.
Good Lord. Yep.
Yeah, right then.
All right. So speaking of, having sex with a lot of women, because that's just my forte, we're going to get into tonight's topic.
Let's do it.
It's going to have some fun. Hey, everyone. I am MSK, a.k.a. Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Thunderbolts lost Marvel Studios millions of dollars. So Thunderbolts, which is the 35th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which ends Phase 5, completely failed at the worldwide box office. This movie actually performed worse than Captain America Brave New World, which only did about $60 million better than it, and that movie also completely flopped. So Thunderbolts, you already knew, was going to head down a dark path at the worldwide box office because the company literally changed its name after opening weekend. They're like, hey, this is just called the New Avengers now. I want to tell people this. That is actually an act of desperation. That's literally what Warner Brothers did with Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, and then they just changed it to Birds of Prey and the Harley Quinn. Because if that movie had actually made a buttload of money opening weekend, and then more and more money weeks 2, 3, and 4 in its box office cycle, they wouldn't have changed it. We've said this about the MCU constantly. They actually had no plan, and they needed a movie to kind of basically go like, hey, these are our Avengers. Because remember, there's actually no Avengers established in Phase 4 and 5, and we're coming up on Avengers Doomsday, and everyone on Twitter after their 5-hour chair stream. I'm not getting to that. I'll just be ranting forever. It's okay. I have the tools to cope with it. Where life throws at me. Good fucking God. That was a horrible thing to do as advertising. Going to Avengers Doomsday, all of a sudden, who are the Avengers then? But they're like, hey, we can use Thunderbolts as the Avengers. So that proves one of two things. One, they had no faith in that movie. It could just stand on its own with its own group of characters. They had to give it a new title. Keep in mind, the New Avengers is a thing in Marvel comic books. That is an actual thing. But that's supposed to be Thunderbolts, a team. Because wasn't Marvel known for that? The narrative of Marvel was they can take any random unknown character in their brand and make them a household names. I want people to understand this. Marvel's not in that narrative anymore. That narrative hasn't been a thing in years. And someone said, would you rather them only do movies on Spider-Man, X-Men, Hulk? Yes, because I don't. First of all, let's use a basketball analogy. Everyone, we went to go see Michael Jordan play back in the day, or watched him on TV, or you watch his highlights. Yeah, I like seeing the best players play. No one wants to see a bunch of bench warmers or a bunch of nobodies. Nobodies have to prove themselves. That's just how life works. If you're a nobody, you're a fucking loser. You got to prove yourself. That's just how it works. If you gave me A good franchise full of Spider-Man movies and X-Men movies, yeah, those will make a lot of money. Guys, bad, horrible Fox X-Men movies made a lot of money because the X-Men are just that popular. People just like them that much. Now, is that fair? Well, life is not fair, so get over it. You got to suck it up. So that's how it works. You know, if you gave me a good franchise full of a bunch of popular characters, those movies will make constant money. Spider-Man movies make a lot of money. The only one Spider-Man movie that did make a lot of money was Amazing Spider-Man 2. That kind of flopped, but outside of like the other ones, they did very, very well. I don't get this notion where apparently now we have to try every single random character to see if it's going to engage an audience. Guys, the average person doesn't know. You go up to 10 people and ask them who Shang-Chi was, they couldn't tell you. Go up to 10 people, ask them who Wolverine was. That's a different story right there. So my thing for Marvel to kind of, and we'll go into the actual numbers here, stop doing movies based off characters people don't know about. Oh, I did a movie based off characters no one knows. My movie flopped. Like, no shit. Like, are you surprised? It's like they're in constant Pikachu surprise face or something. Back years ago, you could do that. Yes, in phases 1 through 3, you could do that. You're in phase 4 and 5. You can't do that. You do that, your movies fail. Sorry, you do popular characters or you fuck. Great. They just did Deadpool and Wolverine, arguably 2 of their biggest characters. That made a lot of money. People were going to watch that based off the names of the characters alone. You were going to go watch that. Even if it was a bad movie, even if it was, doesn't matter. The names alone brought you there. So that's the thing is, give people characters they actually want to pay for. Ronin's here for this video. He would know this. It's a comic book line of thinking. People will always say what they would do versus what they would actually pay for out of their wallet. So I could be like, hey, I have this great idea and it could work out. Or people would tell me it's a good idea. Now, the thing in life, people will always say something, but their wallet will say a different story. You would know that in the comic book realm, right? Oh, yeah, I love your book. I'll buy it. Hey, man, it's payday. My wife, I saw her sleeping with my brother. I saw his long cock in her. I'm going to get divorced. I'm going to be broke. I can't do it, man. Payday. I got to buy groceries, man. All excuses. All the excuses. Marvel fans now do this thing where like, yeah, I mean, I would have went and watched the movie, but I like my wife made me. No, you just weren't interested because it's not interesting watching a bunch of bench warmers. It's not. I'm sorry. That's how life works. If you're a bench warmer, you don't get playtime. I used to be in sports, but
well, the other thing that like you mentioned earlier, even like you know, Spider-Man and stuff like didn't like perform that well at the box office. Nowadays, what movies have to do is the only place that they get to stand out is the box office because people aren't really buying DVDs. They're not buying physical media. They're not doing all that stuff. So, I mean, even if a movie didn't perform well, they still had the second market and then they could become a success in that different stage. Now you don't even have that. So now they're spending even more money to make worse films that even if you could buy them, nobody would be buying them anyways. Like, I mean, I can sit here and just ask the panel here. What's one of the last movies that you went and you watched multiple times at a theater? Because when I would see a good movie, like the last one that I can really think of that I saw like 3 or 4 times was Godzilla -1. Like I loved that movie so much. I went and I saw it at least. I saw it 3 times, and then I saw the minus color, and I just because I thought it was a great movie, and I think so I went 4 times. I went to go see multiple times. Yeah, but like Bob
in the plane.
Bob looks like a great princess over there. You know what, Amos Sparkles, you need to hit Bob with some of that princess shit you've been hitting me with. You know, just tag him in that. But think about it, like in general,
been a long time.
The last ones that I've thought about, other than Godzilla -1, was Endgame and Infinity War, because I wanted to experience them in a theater, that epic moment. And then there's a lot of people who you'd be at whatever theater you're at, and those people are possibly experiencing it for the first time, and you get all the cheers, and it's just a good, cool experience. That is what like stuff like that is for, or like these blockbuster moments where you're just like, man, I'm never going to experience that again based on what's coming out. So it's like none of the movies nowadays that are coming out are rewatchable. Like even once you see them one time, you're done.
The problem too, though, even if they are rewatchable, it's so damn expensive to go back to the theater to see them again. Like, you know, I would have definitely gone back and watched.
You can wait a month and all of a sudden they're on stream.
Well, that's another thing too. Like I love Deadpool Wolverine so much because it was just a fun movie. You could just sit there, mindless entertainment, and I love that kind of stuff. And I would have definitely gone back and watched it again if it wasn't so damn expensive. But I just waited till it got to streaming, and then I watched it like 3 times since it's been at streaming. So, but no, I get your point, and It's been 20 some odd years probably since I've seen a movie multiple times in the theaters.
I think Top Gun Maverick was the last one for me.
That was a good one.
It was a great movie. It's actually
I saw that one with my oldest son, and then my parents wanted to go see it, so I took them to go see it, and then I saw it once on my own, and then I've seen it multiple times on streaming.
I've probably seen it like 5 or 6 times, and then so I saw it twice on my own, and then actually when that movie was coming out is actually when my cousin was graduating, so we went up to Yosemite again, where I was just at. I mean, it just happens to coincide with what you're talking about. But their movie theater up there, they drop they drop a screen out of the trees, and then it's just backlit by a lake and all these massive trees, and you're just out in the open. And it's like, I was like, this is the most American way that I've ever thought to see a movie like this. Yep. It's like the most American experience. Just like, dude, you're out in nature. Everything is awesome. I got a couple pictures of it. I need to pull them up on stream sometime. But so I saw it a third time in that capacity, and I've seen it on stream since then. But
the other two,
that movie was great.
For you guys, I'll just add into you guys' point. So the first thing to bring up is a lot of these movies. Actually, I had to think about this when I was at work before we actually get into the numbers here and what people had saying about Thunderbolts and everything and its box office results. Actually, think about this. Anyone that's going to watch this video when I upload it as a clip on the actual channel, what's the last movie you watched? Not only in theaters, because we've all said which one we watched. The one that you actively went like, damn, that was really good. And I really remembered that, and I really enjoyed my time there. Like an actual movie, you would just. It would come out on VOD or whatever, digital, and you go you just rewatch in your free time. A lot of these movies coming out, it's not that they're forgettable. When they're done, we just don't it's kind of like you want to be a part of the release of them, and then you see them and you're like, okay, on to the next thing. It's not like anything truly memorable. I think the last movie that I really felt that way for, I think was Top Gun Maverick, actually, or maybe No Way Home too. That one was actually pretty big.
The only one that I've seen that this year that I would say is rewatchable, and obviously, I'm a horror movie fan. I prefer to do. Yeah, I'm a horror movie fan, but it's Final Destination Bloodlines. I enjoyed my time in that movie. I still think that that might be the best movie I've seen all year so far, which is kind of a high bar. Actually, it's not even a high bar because every movie has been pretty shit all year. I know a lot of people I know a lot of people like Sinners, but I didn't really care for it. There's one good scene in Sinners, and it's because it's a music scene and I'm a musician. So I was like, I appreciated that. That was about it.
You said your favorite movie this year was Brave New World. I know you're a huge, black.
Oh yeah. Just massive shill for that. Yeah. Clearly.
But that's the thing that happens with a lot of movies now. It's crazy. Ronin brought up Deadpool Wolverine. It's crazy. Yeah. The numbers show on Deadpool Wolverine. Every fan, a lot of people showed up for that one. There was no excuses made for that. People just went and showed up for it because that's something that people were actually interested in. I've always kind of boiled this down in my logic, just mine, because I'm fucking insane. In people's actual interest in what they'll be willing to pay for versus what they say they'll pay for. People would want to see Deadpool Wolverine beat each other up. As crazy as it is, people want to see that. They don't want to see, goddamn, a fucking Shiri Black Panther. Yeah, no one wants to watch that. Sorry to shatter anyone's expectations of that.
So I'm seeing Miss Sparkle say it costs too much to go to the movie theaters for me. I can afford to go. So, I mean, depending on where you're at, maybe it's not available, but I have the AMC Movie Pass, and it's I think it just went up in price. It's about $28 a month, right? But you can see 4 movies a week. They don't even release 4 movies a week now, but it's but you can see 4 movies a week for $28 a month, and you can pre-order your tickets and whatever, and it's all good. So if I'm even just seeing a movie a week, which is whatever the top billed movie is of the week, a normal ticket price out here in California is about $18 to $25, depending on what theater you're going to or whatever. Yep. So just seeing 2 movies, as long as I see 2 movies off of that, it's more than paid for itself. If I'm seeing 4 movies a month, which is obviously what I'm doing at the moment, it more than doubles what I'm doing. So as long as I've had it, it's paid for itself multiple times over, type of deal.
Oh,
if you have an opportunity like that, check into something like that. If you want to be like a moviegoer, if you're not into movies, obviously that's not going to be for you. But yeah, check that out, because I think that's one of the best investments I think I've made, because I love going to the movies. So
if you're someone that can't afford to, what's crazy with the internet now, whenever a movie, because you can always look these things up, when does X movie have a digital release date? When that digital release date is up for that movie, you can go on like any certain website and see it. That's what I do. If I don't have the time for a movie, I'll just wait till it comes out digitally and just go watch it on certain websites, and you can find them. They're
interesting.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
There's a lot of movies, unless it's something that I absolutely have to see, like Deadpool, Wolverine, that I've just waited till it's gotten to streaming. Like I watched Brave New World when it got to streaming. After I was like, those are movies is like, when I'm bored one day, I'm gonna pop it in the background. I'm just gonna watch it because I want to see what it's about.
Did you see for like a full week, like somebody posted Brave New World on YouTube, and it lasted like a whole week on YouTube?
No,
it was the whole fucking movie. It was just there, and you could just watch it.
They didn't catch that for a week.
It took them like a week to take it down. It was crazy.
Someone always
it was just there.
Someone always, they're like, "Oh, did you see Brave New World?" And so someone always snitches. But speaking of Brave New World only made $415 million. Complete fail. Absolute failure. Now, it's crazy. I took my wife to go see this movie, and then I had her boyfriend there too. So
there you go. That's nice.
See, that's how I had my experience of Brave New World. I took her out to see a more successful black man than myself. But no, this movie completely failed. And then looking at Thunderbolts. So this is Thunderbolts worldwide box office tally after like
crazy
4 weeks, right? It's been about 4 weeks, let's say. That's doing worse than this. And this was considered a massive. So what is this one? This is doing terrible. This is actually doing for anyone that said this was doing good, I need you to look in a mirror, turn around, walk out. Please go sit in another room, turn the lights off, and think about what you just said. If that's considered successful, I need you to actually just stop talking to me. What in the that is bad. That is actually terrible.
There's no denying the numbers. I mean, there's absolutely no. But what I've heard is that the people who saw it did like it. So, like you said, two things can be true at once, right?
It's not bad. I watched it.
It's a decent movie, but it just didn't do well at the box office. And one, nobody cares about the Thunderbolts. They didn't even do the cool version of the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, it's true.
From the comics, which they could have definitely done. And again, this is just another one of those Marvel movies where you make the female star the star of the movie, which they're doing with Fantastic Four now, and they've been doing now. It's just their biggest trend. I'm just no offense, but I don't even like that character. She pops up in Black Widow, and for some reason she's the darling of the MCU now. And like she's got to just be like this big thing. I'm like, I don't care about her. The only one that I care about in this movie is Bucky. You should have made Bucky the main character, the star of the show, of the movie, because that's what everybody wanted in the first place. Even Sentry being in the movie wasn't enough for me to want to go actually check it out.
We talked about
it's another
another thing that's spoiled in the trailers is Sentry. Another big reveal that could have happened. And another thing with Thunderbolts is that even though I treat this kind of like, we were talking about Fast and Furious earlier before the video, I think of this as like a Fast and Furious movie. It's literally just like you just turn your brain off, you just enjoy it. It's really not that bad. It's honestly a better movie than the ones that they've released previously. But that's the problem with Thunderbolts now. Thunderbolts is going to feel the effects of all the other bad MCU movies that came out. So any movie that comes out, even after the Avengers movies, because they're going to pivot to X-Men after that, Kevin Feige's already said they are. Yeah. Every movie that they put out is going to suffer based off their previous bad quality. If you put out enough bad movies in a franchise, the numbers at some point will start going down. Look at Transformers. Those numbers eventually cratered to disgusting levels at this point. It's crazy to say the MCU cratered their numbers to the way Transformers is an absolutely insane statement compared to where they were at.
Crazy that the MCU even did. The MCU at one point was unstoppable. $1 billion movie.
Yeah, it was.
$1 billion movie. Yeah. And you didn't see any end in sight. And it really was, and I think MSK, you and I have talked about this before, that Endgame was really, it was a great movie, but it was a double-edged sword because it did really feel like a finality to that whole storyline. And then they killed Tony Stark, they age up Steve Rogers, and then everything that followed after that was just a disjointed mess. But Endgame seemed like it was just like, all right, we've been with these characters for 10 years. This is it. It's over. And you kind of had that feeling. We've told their story. We're good. And everything that came after that was just like, not interested.
It really did feel like they didn't have a plan. Like sports reference recently, the New York Knicks fired their head coach, and no one wants to take the job. This is something that I've always kind of faulted with Endgame 2. It's not the movie itself, just one thing. They don't have any star players, though. This has been a problem with the MCU since. And who's the actual main? Like in anime, let's use anime for example. Like Goku, you have Deku, Luffy, Naruto. You know, you can say Batman's the main hero for DC. Who is the main hero of the MCU? People always followed Chris Evans or RDJ's characters.
Yep.
There's no main hero here because we're all just watching a bunch of characters that kind of looked better with other people next to them. And then when they got to do their own solo thing, like back in the day when Scottie Pippen decided to go thing by himself, he got very close to winning. But remember, did Scottie Pippen look as good next to my Michael Jordan? Yeah, it's debatable, right? A lot of these characters that were with RDJ and Chris Evans looked good alongside them, but by themselves, are they that interesting? I mean, they could have had Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a different thing. They had screwed Spider-Man from the very beginning.
None of the characters are all that interesting to begin with. But on top of that, a lot of times when it comes, especially when it comes to superhero movies, it's like how interesting is your villain, and your villain is technically a good and bad guy when it comes to Sentry, right?
I like that one. Yeah.
So it's like a good bad guy, whatever, and it's not interesting. It's the only character that if they went the typical route that they've been doing, which is you need to talk them down. You just need to talk them down, and they did the same thing. So they did the same thing in two movies back to back. And the only character that would have been able to do anything else outside of that would have been Ghost, because Ghost can phase through people. So if Ghost, and I was like, that would have been a smart move. Have Ghost phase through Sentry and like grab his heart and be like, stop or whatever.
Yeah,
I would have liked that way more. And that's the only character. Like even in like a Suicide Squad, you had what was his name, Inferno, or what the hell's his name? The guy who turns into it.
James Gunn one or the
the air one. So the first one
we had Diablo.
So Diablo. There you go. So he turns into like literally the devil, and then he can fight the Enchantress or whatever. And that's the only character that can go up against her powers. When you have somebody like basically Superman on steroids, it doesn't make sense to just have like even super soldiers. You have like two super soldiers and a couple of people who are like really good at spinning around and doing theatrics.
Yeah, to really point it out for people, to really give you an example of what happened in Thunderbolts when they tried to fight him. Remember when Madara fought all those allied shinobi forces?
It was literally just like a recreation of the Justice League movie when Superman is like doing the when he's like it might as well have been that scene, but with weaker people around him.
Yeah. I just want to point out,
it was just decimation.
When someone calls that a fight, I don't call those fights. I call that a big stomp. We call that a stomp. There was no fight there. There was no ever actual threat. Keep in mind, before we go to this article, I was the MCU's kind of never had good villains, though. That's always been even when they're back in their prime, they've never had good villains. Like people only point out the better villains are like Killmonger, Thanos, Michael Keaton's Vulture wasn't that bad. He was okay. Who else was there?
I mean, I actually liked Ultron, although people didn't like Ultron, but mainly because of James Spader.
The voice was good. Yeah,
the voice was just fantastic.
Was so good, yeah.
And I just
you have Loki, Hela. Like I sort of like even when the MCU was at their peak, villains have always been their problem. So when the movies are not that good, the villain's going to be even worse. Thunderbolts lost millions of dollars despite great reviews. Where does Marvel go next? To the dumpster, or just sorry, my bad. Reboot the whole thing, please. Why can't we just start over? It's not that hard. Please start over. We'll forgive you, Marvel, please. But if I swear to God, if there's an X-Men movie coming out and they cast Denzel freaking Washington as Magneto, I'm out. A black guy playing a Jewish Holocaust survivor, I'm not watching that. I'm not watching. I'm done.
I really hope that they don't. I hope that they've learned a little bit of a lesson, that they don't go that extreme.
The rumors are probably.
I really worry that they are going to politicize the X-Men to be the minority champion, where they can really put in all those ideas. And it would make perfect sense if you cast Xavier and Magneto with black actors. I mean, I could see them doing it. I hope they don't do it.
What they'll do is they'll make it it'll be like the 60s movement. So you're gonna there'll be like a representation of like MLK and Malcolm X, you know, and then instead of being Holocaust survivors, they're gonna be saviors of that movement, or they're gonna be leaders of that movement.
Survivors. They'll be surviving the hood.
Yeah.
That's what I want my Magneto. Good Lord, that'd be terrible. I don't really understand the fact that
they're gonna be people that don't tip on your pizza orders. I
just want to point out is the fact that any insert character that gets race swapped, people get called racist and bigots for that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're someone, so how would that work though? If they made a black person, if they would race swap a Jewish character to a black, would you agree with that? I'll appeal there. Would you get called racist or bigoted for that? It's like, that's why I've always said race swaps and gender swaps are stupid. How are you going to justify that? How would you ever be able to
they need to do it in a way like that, just so they can have more victim mentality towards these people.
No,
right?
No,
that's it's true. That's what it is. It's the victim mentality. And so having like a Jewish survivor who's also oppressed by being a mutant, like your double victimhood, you still need to keep the double victimhood going. And the only way to do that would be like, if you're going black, now you need to to make them victims from. Oh yeah, well, if that's what they're doing, that they need to have.
I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't.
There's no
it would
way.
be the dumbest move. It would be the dumbest fucking thing.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be some bad castings in that movie, but I don't think they're going to do that. I really don't.
It won't be. Hopefully, it's not any of the main characters that people like mainly really care about, because there's like a core amount of characters that people really want to see properly displayed, and Xavier and Magneto would be like, I don't know, top of the list there.
Dude, they're gonna cast for Iceman. I nominate fucking Ryan Gosling.
I nominated MSK.
Whoa, I can't be Iceman. Whoa. I'm just pointing out, don't make Magneto Giancarlo Esposito. He's a great actor too, but Magneto? No. I'll be honest here, he couldn't even portray Magneto.
he was gonna be Xavier.
Oh, it's even worse. Okay, go on.
Denzel was going to be Magneto, so it was like Denzel's Magneto, and then Carlo Esposito.
Do you have a rope that I can use right now? Good Lord! All right. Days after Thunderbolts hit the big screen, Disney
I can conjure one up every time I'm around black people. I'm kidding.
That's what I do.
A bad joke. No.
That's what I do. I agree. Days after Thunderbolts hit the big screen, Disney CEO Bob Iger was feeling celebratory. He publicly touted the comic book adventure as the first and best example of Marvel's new movie strategy. Oh, what? Fucking flopping? Referring to the film's positive reception from audiences and critics. And what a relief following a bumpy few years. That is an understatement. A bumpy few years.
Yeah.
Shit. And a string of poorly reviewed misfires. Man, I hate these people. Yes, a few bumpy years. People literally hate this franchise now. Yes, that's what happened. 6 weeks later, Thunderbolts has cratered at the box office with $371 million globally. It's one of the lowest grossing installments in all of Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe. Also to point out, this movie did worse than Black Widow, which was released during a peak virus-esque Chinese period, and that had a dual release at home too. This did worse than Black Widow. That's actually insane to think about at this point. If this is the second coming of Marvel, the superhero empire might need another reboot.
Another? What was the first one?
Well, did they ever have one?
They haven't rebooted Marvel.
Good Lord. This is the reboot that we haven't seen yet, which would be like, fuck, that'd be bad. Marvel's calculus has changed, says Sean Robbins, Fandango's movie analytics director. He says, and I quote, "We're in a new era where not every Marvel movie is going to hit $1 billion. Why do people keep saying, no shit? And keep in mind, not every Marvel movie ever hit $1 billion. That's not a good amount of them did, but no one, keep in mind, not every movie needs to be $1 billion.
You had like 4 in a row that hit $1 billion.
Yeah.
That's the problem with actually just movies in general right now is their budgets are way too high. They need to get these budgets back down to like reasonable stuff around maybe 120, maybe even 150. Well, yeah, and that's out of just laziness. They're like too lazy just to move the camera to the right a little bit, and they're like, we'll remove the air conditioner in post.
Did you see
or something? And,
did you see they released like how much CGI and green screen they use now in the
I did.
movies and in the TV series, where they can just entire environments now they're just
I've
painting.
seen them. Yep.
And I'm just like, that's why all the money is being spent. Like, instead of being on location, maybe, who knows? Maybe they're saving
Also, the
money with it.
cast.
But
I
I
heard
feel
the
like,
cast takes up a lot of their money too, like the
yeah,
actual salaries for the cast,
well,
which
I
is
could see that for
insane,
like Secret Wars and stuff when you bring in
right?
RDJ back and a bunch of
Just
that's gotta be a
RDJ is
heavy,
90
yeah.
million for 2 movies. So you're looking at
Wow.
$45 million a movie for the next 2 movies on him, right? Because that's what he's getting paid.
Yeah, I
That
remember
might-
reading that.
That's your starting point. And now you have what, 27 other castmates
That
who-
all want the bag too.
bare minimum. Let's just go ahead and say everyone's only getting $1 million. You're looking at $80 million before you start filming. Like that is fucking insane.
And that's the
Well,
other thing.
Pedro's gonna get some money because he's like, the big guy.
Yeah,
now.
no,
So
like
he's
I said,
taking
that's
it.
the minimum. That's the
Yeah.
minimum. So every person like higher up the rank or whatever is getting paid, 2, 3, 4, 5. You start racking that up, you're looking at 150, 200 million before you even shot a single frame.
Oh,
Like,
I'm just saying, Pedro's going to
that's insane.
Diddy parties, getting fucked by trans women. Just being honest here. But this is my thing where movies would need to make $1 billion depending on their budget and marketing, like you guys have said. So a movie doesn't have to hit $1 billion to be profitable, but if your budget is like $300 million, yeah, it probably does. But that's their fault for not having, managing their finances on how much their movies actually make versus cost, obviously. Since the MCU's inception with 2008's Iron Man, Marvel has been Hollywood's most consistent hit maker. It's also the highest grossing film franchise in history with $31 billion across 36 films. $1 billion per movie shouldn't be a barometer for success. I agree. But before COVID scrambled things, even less beloved installments were guaranteed a certain level at the box office because of the good word of mouth. That was a benefit of the other good movies that people liked. Now, keep in mind, Phase 1 through 3 put out some really bad movies, like Thor: Dark World stinks, Iron Man 3 stinks. There's some bad movies in there, but there was a level of like, okay, people thought they were bad, but they had enough fun with them and they liked them enough that they would carry it over to the next.
They'd still go see them in the theater when they
when
they would come out. Absolutely, they'd still do good. But so I think that the thing that people miss about this is the MCU started in an era where we were just starting to get used to seeing comic book movies on screen.
True. Yep.
And there were a lot of duds that came from other studios. And we finally got some of this, like, the whole draw of the MCU was that we knew that the Avengers movie was coming at some point. And we knew that we were getting Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, the Hulk. And then we were going to see everybody on screen, which had never been done before. So they were playing on things that had never been done before, and they capitalized on it. And it raised such a excitement amongst the fan base that it became this phenomenon, this cultural phenomenon at the time that I don't think they're going to be able to capture now, because we are used to it now, 10, 15 years later. So they have to figure out something different than just going back to the old formula, because that's done. They ended up with Endgame, that's done.
Yeah. Also, to add to your point, back years ago, this back when we were all younger, like 10, 15 years younger, movie going was way different back then. Like before the internet became as big as it is, I mean, all we kind of really did was like play video games, go outside and hang out, and we go to the movies because that was just a thing to do. So like the MCU came out. Yeah, a lot of things have changed since back then. And it's with some of the other like bad MCU movies that came out, they didn't make $1 billion, but they made enough to the point where it was like, okay, we should probably keep testing this, So this notion that certain movies did well after, it's true. Yeah, but there's word of mouth has a lot of effect now. Now when a bad MCU movie comes out, we're like, fuck. I mean, you could go watch the other one, but I'd recommend not hanging yourself,
Yeah.
Fuck. Pre-pandemic, 19 out of its 22 films at least cracked $500 million globally. Keep in mind, when you pen that for inflation, it could be better or worse depending on which movie. Since then, the once Teflon brand has struggled with commercial consistency starting in 2020. Just 6 out of the 13 films have reached the $500 million benchmark.
It's crazy.
Also, I'm gonna do another thought exercise here in a moment here. After we go over this, I want to show how bad their consistency's been between TV shows and movies in the video. You're just gonna get a banger. Hot bangers here. I love it when I bang my wife too. Jokes aside, at least February's Captain America: Brave New World and 2023's The Marvels. These are terrible fucking movies. And Ant-Man: The Wasp: Quantumania, another trash movie, could blame their disastrous grosses on
That's some cope right there. That's some BS excuses.
Did this person straight up say the reason why the Marvels failed was because of its reviews? Did anyone watch those trailers? That looked like crap.
Yeah, you didn't need to hear anybody's reviews to. This is what I get so upset with people. Like, trailers. I've had people be like, "Well, you can't judge it off of the teaser." I'm like, "Yes, I can. The trailer is for you to make a judgment. Like that's you make a judgment right there. That's
am I going to invest my money to come to this?
That's really the reason you put out a trailer is to give people, hey, do you want to come try my product out? That's why they give out free samples.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you can't make a judgment until you see it. I'm like, yes, on some things. If I'm interested in something, and I can be like, when I see it, I'll let you know if I think it's good or if it's bad.
Right.
But I can see something right off the bat. I'm like, this doesn't interest me. And so that's their fault with the trailer. You didn't reach me with your advertising, and that's it. So like the whole bad reviews thing, that has nothing to do with anything. It just backs up what people already think.
The Marvels is a sequel to Captain Marvel, one of the worst talked about in. It's crazy. Captain Marvel is actually way worse talked about than the actual shittier ones that they're releasing now. That movie has no good word of mouth. It made $1 billion by complete luck and circumstance. That people ask me, did you think it was going to flop at art? Yes. Nobody likes Captain Marvel. Why would you go watch its sequel?
Well, yeah, Marvel's was absolutely going to suck. The only reason that Captain Marvel was successful is because it was right between.
Right, and they told you had to watch it. That's
exactly.
Yeah, they made it like she was going to be a big deal in that movie.
And she was
she was supposed to be. Remember that?
True. Yeah.
I mean, all the rumors were that she was supposed to be almost like the star of.
They were going to have her take over as the Captain America type.
Yeah, she was going to be the big character in Endgame, and then she had so much pushback that they ended up like completely pulling back her character, which was the right move because nobody wanted to see this character that had no. Didn't go through the 8 years or whatever of a maturation process and storytelling to be the one to defeat Thanos. Like that whoever came up with that idea, like that was the cracks, right? That was the start of the end. You saw the cracks in the MCU where they were going when Captain Marvel and Brie Larson became this big thing that they were really trying to push on the fan base. That was the start.
Kevin Feige had said Kevin Feige had made some crazy comments on interviews he was given years ago, and you already knew it was headed. Keep in mind, the MCU doesn't have a Michael Jordan now, but it's better than having Brie Larson's Captain Marvel as a Michael Jordan. That'd be terrible. Good Lord.
They buried that character.
Thunderbolts had enthusiastic word of mouth, but is yet to climb out of the red, suggesting there is a new ceiling for superhero movies that aren't based on marquee characters. No, there's not. There isn't. The MCU kind of created that narrative that you could just take random characters and do well with them. Keep in mind, most characters that people barely knew about, movies that came out before the MCU, usually always fucking failed. The only reason why they ever did well is because when the movie was good, it would transfer over to the sequels. Like, generally, unknown characters don't really do that well. I still fail to understand where this comes from. They chose to build a franchise off of characters that weren't known, minus like Hulk and Captain America.
They had to because they had sold off all their A-list characters, during the bankruptcy. So they had to do what they did, which they did a remarkable job with the characters that they had left because they had great casting in the early days. Great casting that were compelling. Like you were charismatic actors like Robert Downey Jr., even Chris Evans, who came in and did a fantastic job with Captain America. You get Hemsworth out of nowhere that just is Thor, and people just started falling in love with the character. They did such a great job with the casting and the excitement of those movies early on that it worked. Everything worked, even if there were some duds in there. Like they worked. And Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, and everyone was just so high on the goodwill that everyone went and saw that movie, and it was a great movie. Chris Pratt became a superstar off that and did a fantastic job in that, and they were just doing everything right during that phase. And for some reason, they decided to shit it all away with the whole DEI stuff or whatever they were trying to go into.
Can't wait for Ironheart.
I was gonna say like like Guardians that's the reason that they talk about that is because it's a bunch of like kind of unknown
characters. They're actually
unknown characters that blew up, and for one, that's James Gunn, who also actually wrote their whole game plan up till Infinity War. He wrote the Infinity he wrote their layout for
Yeah, it's
them.
Kevin Feige's right-hand man to create their cosmic
so he did all that, and like that's why it played out the way that it did. I mean, like it's like, okay, here's where I want it to go, like, and then he wrote the Infinity. It's basically the Infinity Gauntlet saga or whatever. And
interesting. I didn't know that.
James Gunn did all that.
Yeah,
and then so that's why like characters like that would come in and they're awesome and people really like them. And so there's obviously a lot of pushback towards James Gunn right now with Superman, because he's doing, I don't want to say he's doing the same thing, but it's like he's like, oh, I have a massive plan for this, and it's like, dude, he made the plan for the MCU, and you guys like that for like 11-12 years, however long it ran, like for the main first 3 phases. Like he came in after like some of that was out there, but he structured it all to have a game plan. So he does have good ideas and like a good long run whatever. What did you say earlier? Like the MCU made what, 35 billion or whatever? Like
$31 billion. Crazy.
31. Yeah. Over 26, 27 movies at the time for the first 3 phases.
Yep.
Maybe now there might be a little trickle down from whatever else came out.
One of the things that they don't have now and that they fumbled was that the first 3 phases or whatever, there was a big bad being slowly built in Thanos. We all knew that was working up at some point to Infinity War, and you would get glimpses of him every once in a while, here or there, even though you had other villains and stuff, and you had the connectability of all the movies together, that just you had the shared universe, and Endgame happened and that ended, and we went into this next phase, and it was supposed to be what was that character? The dude they had to fire because
they were saying
Kang. It was supposed to be
Kang.
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 Kang was supposed to be the next big
We was
bad.
Kangs.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like the whole thing.
Yep.
And then that got thrown out, and then they didn't have it. Like these movies came out.
Have him getting beat by ants is not the smart move.
Yeah, that was horrible. Like that was
movies.
Don't introduce the big bad quickly and have him be defeated. And like
what's even worse?
What were they thinking?
So they neutered him way too quickly.
I want to tie into that Thanos point Joe brought up. When Thanos was I remember this, when Thanos was being built up in the very first movies he was introduced in, I remember when his chair turned in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I remember the audience that was sitting in, packed crowd, just being like, oh my God, this guy's scary. This is the actual villain. This guy's fucking evil as hell. They never built up Kang that way. Kang got defeated by Ant-Man. I'm not supposed to be, how am I supposed to be scared of him?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be scared of that.
The smartest move that they should have done when it comes to phase 4.
Never hire a black guy. I called it. Hire a black guy.
100% that. But no, not just that. But start back out with like your street level characters. You're like street and like have them have a couple movies that escalates, and all of a sudden there's like new technology coming around or whatever, and then you can build up a new villain from there. It's like, how do they got these super the futuristic weapons, and then all of a sudden Kang is like randomly popping in and out and like dropping off weapons and doing stuff like that. Do something like that, and then you could build up like, oh man, this he's causing chaos. Like, why is he causing this kind of chaos? And he's like, well, I'm disrupting this for maybe a bigger plan. And then I don't know where they'd go with that, but it would be a lot better than hey, just drop your new villain in and have him get like slapped around by fucking Loki's dumbass in a random universe and then get beat by ants. Like that's like nobody is scared of this guy. Like you're supposed to feel that he's a threat.
Well, I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to be like there's a different version of him that's much worse that's coming. But the problem with that was that you were already showing versions of him that were being defeated. So that already killed his whole big threat. It shows he's beatable. Right. At some point he's beatable because all the other ones are beatable.
And then he had sex with Waps's mom. They were trapped in that quantum realm. He was clapping her cheeks. It heavily implied they were having sex, and I could believe she was a fucking whore bag. Just being
hell yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
A diminished
he was piping down Pfeiffer for sure.
A diminished global marketplace and oversaturation of superhero stories on the big and small screen are partly responsible for the decline. I mostly blame DC for that. I don't. Okay, superhero fatigue is one thing to talk about for discussion, not for the video, but for any, I wouldn't really say that's Marvel. That's mostly like a DC thing. I would say DC contributes to just like superhero fatigue. If that's any company you want to blame that on.
I would disagree a little bit because I think the only reason why there's any superhero fatigue is because, or in Marvel at least, because DC had its problems. Even though I liked a lot of the DC movies, but they still had their problems. But in Marvel specifically, they could have kept on going strong if they had a plan, and DC would have struggled, and Marvel would have kept on doing what they were doing, and it probably would have driven more people to Marvel because they wanted to see better superhero movies. But the fact is that DC struggled, and then right after that, Marvel just fell off the cliff, and those two things back to back is what has caused this superhero fatigue. And I think if they just made good movies, you wouldn't have the superhero fatigue. It's part of our culture now. Superhero movies is part of our cinematic culture now, and
people would push through it because back in the day before the MCU, if good super movies came out, people would show up for them. You just would push through it, you know.
Yep.
Audiences, habits, and tastes have also shifted. Okay, I agree with that to a certain extent. This year's biggest blockbusters have been kid-friendly films like a Minecraft movie and Lilo and Stitch, or an original fare such as Sinners. Keep in mind, I was wrong about Minecraft. I generally failed to realize that Minecraft is just a very big,
big following.
It's a big following. So that probably was going to be a slam dunk. We're old as hell. We're not in this era.
The highest selling video games of all time, isn't it?
Yep. So I thought this was going to fail because the trailers literally look like crap.
The movie looks like garbage. It really does. But apparently people loved it. So
looked barely watchable, you know. But hey, you know, people went out and saw those. These lower tier comic book movies aren't cinematic slam dunks anymore. But keep in mind, they never were. They only did well because of good word of mouth previously. Thunderbolts wrapping up after just a month in theaters is also a concern. These films aren't legging out like previous iterations, but that's another bigger conversation. Movies leave the theaters too soon. That's been a conversation forever. Thunderbolts is just a benefit. That's just not benefit. That's like a disservice to what the movie could have did in a different time period, but movies have been going out of theaters for a long time. Like movies are only in theaters for what, like 4 weeks now. Movies used to be guys back then when I was younger, movies used to be as a standard in theaters for 3 months. 3 months.
I was just gonna say like 3 to 6 months. I feel like I remember them being, because they would go in like the big theaters and then they get to like the cheaper theaters. You know what I'm talking about? Like the
long time waiting.
And then they would be in there for a while making money. You would wait like an entire year before it even got to VHS. Back in the day, back in the 90s, you know, or even the DVDs in the later 90s.
Yeah, and if you didn't watch it in theaters, you missed out because everybody was going to ruin it for you.
And remember when it would come to Blu-ray or DVD, big trailers, big marketing push for hey, you missed it.
Even when they would when they would do like the early release or whatever, it used to not be like 2:00 or something on a Thursday. It'd be Thursday night at like 12:00 at night.
Midnight. And that was the big thing.
It'd be like a midnight. Yep. Like I remember one of the first ones that ever like previewed like that was Omen. You know, the Omen at like it was like January, or it was like January 6th, 2006. So it was 666. It was like it was, the marketing was crazy. And around the like we were lined up literally around the block in Burbank. If you guys know where Burbank is, I know MSK might. I don't know if you guys are here in California or if you've ever seen it, but it's massive. It's just like, it was probably, you know, thousands of people that are just around this whole freaking block to line up to go watch that movie at midnight. So people they got there at like 6-7 o'clock and they waited till midnight to then still walk their happy ass in there. And that, you know, so it was like there was a lot of hype behind stuff like that. They don't do stuff like that anymore because now it's like, I'll just wait till tomorrow.
I saw all three of the Lord of the Rings trilogy on Thursday night at midnight. And those theaters were packed every opening night, just to the brim. And that was because you
barely find a seat in there.
and that was before they had assigned seatings, right? So you have to wait in line and you get in there and you have to scramble around to try to find your seat. That's
Well, I was even saying that with like How to Train Your Dragon, right? Apparently, it's like almost like a shot for shot remake. Obviously, there might be some. There might be a couple
added stuff into
gender swaps or whatever, or
Oh
not
yeah,
gender swaps,
where's
but
Astrid? That's great. I didn't see
race
Astrid in the
race
movie.
swaps, whatever.
race swap.
But
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
other than that, like at that point, you might as well just re-release the freaking movie, the original, and just be like, hey, go and experience it again in the theaters, or experience it for the first time. And a lot of times when they do that, I mean, it's gonna cost you $0 fucking dollars. You don't got to reshoot anything. And then so it's literally all profit at that. It's all profit at that point. And there's a lot of awesome movies that are out there that a lot of these studios have access to. They're your movies. Go ahead and release those again. People will pay to go see them. Like, it's not you're not going to see like, $300 million or something like that. But if it costs you more than that, and the marketing and everything, you're actually losing money on a bunch of these movies. Just release a bunch of the stuff you already have and put them in like IMAX or something, and just get those people to see them in the way that they never got to see them before, and people will show up. And that would be the smart way to go with a bunch of the stuff that they're doing. It. Why reshoot it? Why redo a classic?
It's coming at an inflection point for the MCU after inundating viewers with complex, interconnected stories across film and television. Marvel is intentionally slowing down to focus on quality over quantity. So there was a Bob Iger interview he put out like about earlier last year. You guys remember that one where he basically said we're going to lower the output of our content coming out? Remember that one? Yeah. Bob, that probably should, one would argue, if that ever started, if at all. Is there an incentive to back standalone stories that are no longer safe bets? Or will the studio only greenlight sure things a la the Avengers or Spider-Man? Keep in mind, all of these things can actually make money in a perfect world. But I will say this. If you want to go for, I would always go for slam dunks. That's just my opinion. I understand that people don't always want to see characters like that, but you would legitimately be in the minority if you didn't want to see Spider-Man. Sorry, that's just how it works, though. You would be in the minority,
and that's coming from a man who will never be able to dunk. Like,
well, I was like Stephen Curry when I used to play basketball. After July's The Fantastic Four First Steps, aka Pedro Pascal getting banged out by Vanessa Kirby, another cinematic introduction of sorts, Marvel seems to be embracing a go big or go home mentality. Okay, then what were they doing since 2019? What were you doing? You weren't going big, you were going home with no money. The upcoming calendar is populated only by heavy hitters with hefty budgets: Avengers Doomsday, Spider-Man 4, that's Spider-Man Brand New Day. We know what that fucking is in comic books. In 2026, and Avengers Secret Wars 2027. An untitled film is set for July 2027, and X-Men and Black Panther movies are in the works. But other projects that focus on one character like Blade have been stuck in protracted limbo. Blade was put on indefinite hiatus. Don't know how hard it is to make a movie about a vampire killer slaying vampires. I guess that's
apparently they don't know how to come up with a good story
or hire a. Hey, what fucking Wesley Snipes said in Deadpool Wolverine was so true. There'll only ever be one Blade. That's true. That's true. He was saying what we all thought in our heads. But after that, hold on, my mouse got flaccid. No pun intended. What's been working for the MCU is major team-ups like 2021 Spider-Man No Way Home and 2024's Deadpool Wolverine. Yeah, characters people want to see. Characters, you wouldn't have to convince someone to go see a Spider-Man movie. They're just going to go watch it. You will have to convince people if you ever want to release like an Iron Fist movie. You have to convince people of that. You don't have to. Spider-Man coming out. Oh, I'll take 2 tickets. One for my wife and one for me. That's how it works. See it? Or sequels to series within a series, such as Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. There's reasons why that made a lot of money. This did make a lot of money. That broke even. This movie's fucking garbage. Yeah. I never saw Guardians 3. I can't speak to that. And I didn't go see
it was all right. It wasn't bad.
I didn't see Black Panther 2 because they didn't recast T'Challa. I'm not watching the Shuri Black Panther. Just not interested in that. But it's debatable if any of these actually made profit. If you look at the budgets and marketing attached to these things, that's a big question mark, in my opinion. Marvel used to thrive on the unfamiliar when Kevin Feige was assembling a cinematic universe in the early aughts. X-Men and Spider-Man Marvel's best-known characters, had been licensed to other studios, yet he created an enormously popular property by introducing Iron Man and Thor in standalone adventures, and then bringing them together for Avengers. Key caveats to point here. There are always people that get carried in sports teams to championships. The first directors of the MCU were Jon Favreau, Joe Johnston, Joss Whedon. Then you also have Kenneth Branagh. Then you also had Louis Leterrier. Those guys got the MCU where it was at. I'm not saying Kevin Feige didn't do anything or he didn't have input, but he got the benefit of what they did. I'm just pointing out there. If Jon Favreau didn't put the MCU on the map, there would be no Kevin Feige, narratives he has attached to himself. Also, it wasn't even Disney that took the risk on the MCU. People literally think Disney's Paramount is what started the MCU. Paramount took the risk on the MCU, not Disney. So if it wasn't for Paramount and Jon Favreau, we wouldn't have the MCU. So I'm glad Kevin Feige just gets all the credit for what these guys did. I'm glad because keep in mind, without these guys doing the MCU, where has the MCU been at in the recent years? They had to call back Joe and Anthony Russo. Joe and Anthony Russo weren't even considered to direct the Avengers movies, despite them being like, hey, they would always get us in interviews. Would you guys like to come back? They'd be like, sure. You tell us the movie, we'll do it. It took RDJ telling Kevin Feige, I'm not doing those movies unless they do them. Kevin Feige wasn't even going to hire the Russo brothers.
That's crazy.
That's actually insane to think about. They made his best movies ever. Winter Soldier, Civil War, both Avengers movies, Infinity War and Endgame, and you weren't considering to hire them. This is how you know this guy potentially has been a fucking fraud the entire time. Or half of a fraud, as we say these days.
The MCU is like they're out the window, man. Like nobody's looking for it. Whatever. The last project that even this year, so when they announced this year's like lineup of what MCU is coming out with, people were like, "Dude, Daredevil's gonna do good." Daredevil crashed out like a motherfucker. Like that was awful. It was so goddamn bad.
Its ratings were worse than Agatha's. That's ridiculous.
It did awful. And then on top of that, what's the next one that's coming out? Other than Ironheart, obviously Ironheart's going to be a massive disaster. That's been shelved for like 3 years.
My God.
But Fantastic Four, right? Fantastic Four. Well, Wonder Man's at the end of the year. But I'm saying what's coming up. Yeah, that looks terrible. But the next obviously movie is Fantastic Four. And did you see who the director is? This is how you can tell that they're not doing well because they can't even find.
They're hiring.
No.
Maybe she's the producer.
It's a dude who directed like 2 episodes of WandaVision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is. Mm-hmm.
That's who they made that's who they got. Yeah. Well, that shows like nobody wants to work with Marvel anymore. Like if you were an actor out here or whatever, and your agent 10 years ago was like, hey, I got a Marvel role for you, you'd be through the moon. You'd be like, oh hell yeah. Right now, run away. Do not go work at Marvel or like for Marvel, Disney, whatever. Do not do that. Like it's gonna be the worst gig. It's gonna tank your career and nobody's gonna like you. Don't do it.
Hey, real quick, it's past midnight here. I'm gonna have to jump off so I can go to bed and get up for work. But I got probably another 15 minutes I can chill out with you guys.
So you're gonna leave me like my dad?
And sorry to do it again.
Okay, before we continue this, usually I don't do this in videos. Before we continue this, we're going to do one little quick thing. I want you guys to keep this score for yourself for the MCU. I'm going to read off movies and TV shows from Phase 4 and 5. And if it was good or you liked it, you get a point to yourself. You don't lose. This is your own actual personal tally. Okay. And if you didn't like it, you don't add a point. Okay. So, because you have to go in a little bit, and I don't want to lose you right now. So let me keep that right there. We're at this sentence right there. Okay, good.
So if we like it, we add a point. If we don't, we take one away.
Simple. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so we'll do Phase 4. We'll start with the movies. Black Widow.
Are we saying these out loud, or we keeping the
go
tally
ahead
for ourselves?
Oh, it's you all.
Negative one.
Negative. Okay, so no points. You're all at 0. Okay, keep in mind. That's all your point.
Okay.
Shang-Chi.
0.
Damn. All right. Eternals.
2 losses.
0.
There's 0. Okay. No Way Home.
Plus. I like that.
Okay. We each get a 1. Doctor Strange 2.
That's a loss.
Loss.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Loss.
Massive loss.
Yeah, I would say double loss. Let's just put double.
Black Panther 2.
Loss.
Loss.
All right,
you know, that was actually a better movie than I thought it was going to be, but I still count it as a loss because I only watched it when I was bored.
I agree with that. It was better than expected, but yeah, I still.
Okay.
Yeah, when your expectations are below fucking purgatory, then I guess hell is okay.
How was that a plus though? You guys are killing me. That's not a plus. All right.
No, it's still a loss. We were saying it's still a loss.
So what are your scores? You all just have one, right? Just one?
One. Yeah.
One out of how many we had there?
Wow. That's a very weak one, by the way. It's like you. Like...
Oh. All right. So now we're gonna do TV shows, okay? Because we said both. Because Phase 4 and 5, they have TV shows out of these. WandaVision.
Loss.
That's hard for me because I actually enjoyed that show for what it was.
I enjoyed half
You're
of
at
it.
2. Okay, now
I enjoyed the first half of it.
I'm going to give it a plus because I enjoyed the first part of it.
Yeah, I'm going to give that one a plus 2.
Okay, so you guys have 2. Sci-Fi has 1. Jesus Christ. Falcon Winter Soldier.
Loss.
Loki.
Loss
is
for me.
A massive loss. It actually destroys everything else that everything built if you actually pay attention to the context to it. Yeah.
Infinity Stones being lightweights and the Kings. Yeah, I get. Yeah.
The biggest problem with that with Loki is actually it takes away everybody's agency. So they like literally every opinion and everything. Like Kang should have been able to rewrite all of it. He can just shape anything that he wants. So everybody's choices aren't even their own choices.
I can't believe people actually said that was
the dumbest fucking thing.
Trash. That's actually terrible. Okay, but
Loki is garbage. It's the most trash show. Yeah,
loss.
That's a loss. But I did like the Doctor Strange. The evil Doctor Strange.
That was the only one. That was the only one that was actually good. But the season completely was
rest
bad.
of it. Yeah.
I will say this show has probably some of the best episodes they've ever did, but also some of the worst ones too. Like when they stole a black kid and brought him back. All right, Hawkeye season 1.
I actually like Hawkeye. So
I agree with Bob too. That was one of the.
Okay, so how many points you guys have?
So this is 3 for.
You have 3, Bob. How many?
We both have 3. Yeah.
Great. Sci-Fax, how much you have?
I'm still going with the loss on that.
Oh God. Okay. Moon Knight.
Loss.
Miss Marvel.
Never saw it's a loss.
She-Hulk.
Loss.
Can we double loss on that with every booty shake?
Oh God.
All right, that was just Phase 4. Now we're gonna do Phase 5. We'll start with the movies. Right. Ant-Man 3.
Loss.
Guardians 3.
I like to go with a plus on this. Yeah.
That one's a win.
Do 4, yeah.
Okay. Marvels.
Loss.
Deadpool Wolverine.
Oh yeah. Win.
Yeah.
Okay. Brave New World.
Loss.
Massive loss.
Thunderbolts.
Loss. Well, I didn't see it. So
I enjoyed Thunderbolts, but I understand why it didn't make money. So
yeah.
Okay. Now we'll do the TV shows. Let's do television series.
There was TV shows in that last one.
Secret Invasion.
I forgot. Yeah, loss. I stopped watching after.
Loki. Season 2.
Loss.
I actually liked season 2. Oddly enough, there was something that I thought they did a better job at season 2 than they did at season 1. So I'm actually gonna put that in a plus category. Okay. For me.
What if seasons 2 and 3?
They made 3 seasons of that.
Sadly, yes. Yeah. I only watched season 1.
Yeah.
I guess that's a question mark. Wash.
I think I watched one episode of it, so I'm gonna have to put it in the loss category because
okay, that's a little different. Echo.
Loss.
Another loss.
I gotta say it's a loss because I didn't even want to watch it. I saw the previews and I was like, nope.
You know what's crazy?
I didn't even watch the Daredevil episode.
You know what's crazy? Echo wasn't even a show they had you watch week to week. They just gave it to you all at once.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They wanted to get it away from the social media Discord for if you were to drop that weekly, it was 5 weeks of getting trashed on. No, they want to get all the trash out there.
That was probably smart.
Agatha All Along.
Never saw it.
Loss.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay, so Agatha All Along, I'm gonna give it a loss, but I don't think it's because it was terrible. I wasn't the target audience. It
lesbians.
They could have there's enough elements in it to where it could have been made into a better show, but they didn't.
Yeah. And Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Oh God, Jesus Christ.
Okay, so look, like friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. This is actually one that I might push back on. If you watch episode 1 and then 9 and 10, you don't need to watch the rest of the episodes.
Nice.
But if you watch
I'm gonna have
1
to try
and
that.
then 9 and 10,
try that.
you'll enjoy the show. You'll be like, those were 3 pretty decent episodes. Like the first one's gonna be the weakest, but 9 and 10 were actually pretty solid.
I'm gonna still put it in the lost category for me.
Yeah, lost for me.
Yeah.
Daredevil, Born Again.
Oddly enough, I liked it.
I liked it too, so I'm gonna give it. So that's gonna be.
I'm gonna give it
for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a plus. That's gonna be 7 for me. I think maybe somewhere around. I might have lost track, but they had massive problems, But I still enjoyed it, so I gotta give it a plus.
Ironheart, so we have to go with that.
No.
So
it had way too many.
It had in there.
It had way too many problems for how long they kept pushing on it and talking about it and being like, we're cutting it from 18 episodes to 2 or to
it had
1.
Massive problems, but
nothing like added up. And there were so many. It's not even just the plot holes. Like the plot holes are massive amount of plot holes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was like it was stupid shit. There was so much stupid shit.
So I want to go over how much stuff they released since Phase 4 and 5. So that right there is that's 7 movies, okay? 7 movies, and that is how many TV shows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 TV shows. So that's 15 projects out of Phase 4. How many did you guys even have?
I had I had 6 at one point.
I think I'm at +2. Like
Jesus Christ!
But I'm
and that's just because
didn't have X-Men 97 on there.
That's not MCU. That's Marvel Animation or whatever it's called. You can count that if you want to count it. You can.
If it's not part of the
you got animation on there,
but I thought that was pretty good.
You got animation on there.
Let's see. There's 3, 6. There's
with
6.
What If? What If is animation.
What number did I say? It was 15. So that adding 6 to that, is that 6? Yeah, that's 6. So that puts it at 21. And then after all of these, so it's 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Out of 28 things they've released since Endgame, how many? You guys had 7 as high?
6.
I think I had 7, but yeah, it's still a low number comparative to the amount of stuff that they put out.
That's horrible. That's really bad.
It's bad. It's bad.
Out of 28 projects, you've maybe liked less than 5% of them.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
And I'm actually surprised I like that much, that many. Going over. Like I was actually surprised. I'm like, okay, that wasn't that bad.
But some of those are kind of passive.
Reading that list right there made me realize how much of it I've disliked. Like,
now, if you had numbered the list of as like great, what you thought was great, it would have been way less of a number. But there are some of them there. I'm just like, like Hawkeye. It wasn't great.
Like,
it was just like it was.
Like Hawkeye had like good moments, but I'm not gonna sit there and say like just because there's a good moment in a movie or a good moment in a TV show doesn't make it a good movie or TV show. It's like 1 or 2 good moments does not make a good TV show and our movie for me, anyways.
The way I have
would have been like 3 out of 28. So out of 28. Ronin had 7. Bob had like 6. Subx had like 3. He's crazy. He's insane. He's white too. He's a white crazy man. But no, like just really look at that. And people keep saying, "Oh, is Marvel in a bad spot?"
I read too many books to be this entertained by fucking mundanity. Like
it's one of these things where I want everyone to do this. When you watch this video back to you, really look at how much stuff they've released versus how much you've actually enjoyed. And keep in mind, these guys put like. Things were kind of passing there. You weren't even very sure, like, Daredevil should be in there. It was like, okay, maybe I'll put it in there. It's like, fucking hell, you know?
Yep. No, and that's not good. I mean, that shows you the state of where Marvel's at right now, which is why it's so important that Fantastic Four hits.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's going to, based on all they had. Okay. They had a good thing that they could have done, and they messed it up with messing up Johnny Storm, gender swapping Silver Surfer, cucking Mr. or Fantastic, and maybe Galactus will be the saving grace of this movie. And I'm glad that they're not showing him off because that at least means that they're confident in the movie somewhat to keep him for mostly the theatrical release. But I don't know. I've got a lot of worries about that movie. I'm gonna go see it, but I've got a lot of worries about it.
I'll be there. Unlike my dad. But Ronin, do you want to say anything else before you had to head out?
Yeah, I gotta get out. Guys, follow me. I got a channel, Ronin Joe. Just look it up, Ronin Joe. We do shows every week, mostly comic book and pop culture content. We do the Spawn review, which is a show all about Spawn and the Spawn universe on Mondays, or no, actually Tuesdays now at 8 p.m. I do a show with my co-host Sean Ahrens on Thursdays at 8 p.m. called Otten Stuff, where we just talk comic books and all that good stuff. And I have the Ronin Joe show at 8 p.m. usually on Sundays, where it's just me doing kind of content like this, just with the chat, shooting the shit. Having a good time. So join me there. I am the writer, artist, creator of Reaper Destroyer that is a hit, a crowdfunding hit. We raised over 75K, over
critics are calling it amazing.
Backers. That's right. People are calling it amazing. That is out into the ether. Everyone's getting it. Great reviews are coming back. We're getting ready to amp up for issue 2 coming out sometime in the fall. So keep track of me. You can follow me on social medias. I'm primarily on X, but type in my name, Joe M. Sontag. You're gonna find me somewhere there. And I think that's it. Yeah.
And don't follow Sci-Fax.
That's awesome, man. I'm a huge Spawn fan. I literally have a Gunslinger Spawn tattoo.
Nice, dude.
Literally, I
got the exact same one.
My tattoo artist gave it to me on my birthday. While I got the tattoo, he was like, "Oh, you told me about the tattoo," and he found this, and then he gave it to me on my birthday.
Well,
so
dude, tune in.
I'm a huge Spawn fan.
Tune in tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We're going to be looking at the brand new issue that just dropped, 365, and that's going to be a fun issue. So yeah, tune in.
Absolutely, man. I'll be checking out your channel, man.
I didn't agree to that. I didn't agree to Sci-Fax to look at your channel. I'm his manager. I run the network around here.
Damn.
Yeah, I barely talk to MSK. He can go fuck himself.
Well, let me give a shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel, guys. Great having me here. I'd love to do it again sometime. It's been a fun show.
Yeah, man. Enjoy your vacation.
Absolutely.
We'll have back on when you come
man.
back.
Have a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a good one.
Have a good night, bro. Those victories embolden Feige to place bets on dicier comic book propositions such as Guardians of the Galaxy, which paid off spectacularly and expanded the franchise. But after too many confusing spin-offs and lackluster sequels, and audiences seem less invested in new additions to Earth's Mightiest Heroes, it's not just less new additions, race swaps, gender swaps, quality of writing, all that stuff plays into a factor. Interest too. Robert Downey Jr. can't return each time the MCU lands in dire straits. Yes, they should have never killed off Iron Man to begin with. Why did they kill him off? It's an awesome character you could have used many years of stories with. Why is he killed off? It was an awful idea to kill him off. Should have just retired him, then brought him back. But whatever.
Yeah.
He'll be black, aka back. He'll be back as the villainous Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday. If the studio wants to replenish the well with new vigilantes, it needs to spend less on origin stories, but belt tightening is getting harder as the cost of everything from actors' pay to visual effects to catering has drastically risen. And turning these movies into can't-miss events requires huge promotional dollars for globe-trotting press tours and premieres. Marvel reined in spending on Thunderbolts, aware that its characters hailed from the pandemic-hobbled Black Widow and underseen Disney Plus series. Typically, the studio's tentpoles cost $200 to $250 million to produce, and another $120 million to $140 million to market. Yes, when I always stress about marketing, this is the numbers that big blockbuster tentpoles need to market. Now, keep in mind, this varies movie to movie. Not every movie has this for a blockbuster. But if we're talking big companies like Disney, Universal, Paramount, Warner Brothers, this is what you're roughly spending on blockbusters. These have to make money. I'm not even saying these are failing because I like hearing myself talk and I love being right and I'm a fucking top G-Riz master. These have to make that means
all of what he just said is a massive lie. But
true.
Yeah, but
keep in mind, so if you add 200, 140, your movie costs $340 million. Your movie costs way more than that. You have to make money. Sorry. Thunderbolts was slightly cheaper, costing $180 million to make, and closer to $100 million to market. Still putting it at $280. Still got to bring in about $800 million to break even. Studios are working hard to bring the high-end budgets down, says David A. Gross, an analyst with Franchise Entertainment Research, says we're going to see less overspending than the years after the pandemic. This should happen years ago. Not just Marvel movies. A lot of movies fail, guys. Movies struggle to break even nowadays, okay? struggling break even. These costs should have been lowered years ago. That whole star power thing they used to get you to go see a movie. Star power hasn't been a thing to get you to go see a movie in years at this point. That's also another narrative that's not exist anymore. Like even The Rock can't get Black Adam to make $360 million. I mean, The Rock can't get people to go see movies anymore. That's how you know shit is in dire straits, for being completely honest with us here. Still, Thunderbolts needed to make $425 million worldwide to break even. No, wait, hold on. I need a calculator because I'm black and I can't do math and I can't read. That's what the New York governor said. All right, 280. What did I say? Budget $100 million? That's a minus. Yep, she was right. I can't use a calculator. She was right. All right, $100 million. 380. Was it times 2 to make your money back, or kind of?
Well, no, I think it said the budget was 180. So
it's 180.
So I mean, the easiest way is just to times it by 2, because like your first week, if you're like Disney, right, or like, so Disney has a contract to where they make like 70% on the first week.
You're right. Yes,
and then after that,
right?
It starts trickling back down.
Times 2. So we'll just times 2 on the marketing.
Timesing by 2 is the easiest way to do it. Yeah.
So it needs 560. Come on, guys. I just did that with my basic calculator on my internet. They're saying it needs. This is why no one. And I don't even hate
took them 17 attempts to do, but yes.
Yes, and I'm black, and CNN was right. This is why people don't trust the trades. Keep in mind, I don't hate the trades. I like to give articles like this for free content for me because I'm a fucking clout chaser myself. I need the free content. I'm a fucking hack at this point, you know? They said it needs 425. Maybe they're not counting the marketing to it. Even if I took off the marketing, let's just say I'm completely fair with it, and I just took off the marketing. Let's do 180, just 180 times 2. Guys, it struggled reaching that. It struggled to even reach that mark right there.
They barely paid for their catering, if at all.
So
like,
bad.
have you been to a movie set? Like, and dude, I've worked job sites that were next to movie sets, and what was cool about them is they would invite us over, and like, dude, like they would have like food trucks there that are like it would be like freaking like top grade salmon, like all that, like it was like super awesome food that would cost you probably $50-$60 in a plate or whatever. And it was just like, oh, that's what they were giving to everybody. And we just happened to be a job site next door. And it was like, hey, for like 2 hours, can you guys be quiet? And we're like, my boss worked out a deal with them, was like, hey, we'll be quiet, but you gotta feed us. And it was like, that was awesome. I think it was the show The Mentalist or whatever. And it was like, it was just a show. I can't imagine what it looks like on a freaking massive movie set like this. You guys are like, you're eating well. You're doing good.
To break even, a figure that seems unachievable.
You're looking at $1,000 a day minimum in food.
Marvel is unique because it isn't as encumbered as rivals by the profits or losses of single films. The company can recoup some costs through Disney Plus and other home entertainment markets, to say nothing of the massive revenue streams from merchandising, theme parks, and cruises. All of this is linked. For anyone that reads these, I'll tell you what all this means, what they say here. This is called fudging numbers. That is literally what that is. So your movie does whatever, you write it down, all the accountants, right? Okay. So when someone says they'll be able to recoup costs with it in different places, not every movie has the same cost to recoup. That's all different, right? And keep in mind, what you put out Thunderbolts on Disney Plus. So this is what you can see through the lies. Okay. You put out Thunderbolts on Disney Plus in a couple of weeks, right? Or a couple of months, right? How do you know that movie generated money for Disney Plus? That movie specifically. You don't. This is kind of like one of those like source trust me bro shit. How do I know you selling Thunderbolts recouped costs for it on DVD? You don't. I don't. That's why this is all tends to be lies most of the time. That's literally what called fudging numbers is. And every film between Avengers installments can be viewed as a marketing tool. Case in point, Disney revealed the motley crew of reformed baddies in Thunderbolts will return in Avengers Doomsday. If audiences miss that chapter, they can always catch up on Disney Plus. Another thing where it's disingenuous. Oh my fucking God. They're not putting out movies to not make money. Movies are not supposed to be, hey, I bomb here so my next one can fucking survive. Like, no. It's not. What? Did I just read some crackhead shit? Hold on. Wait a minute. What the fuck?
Man, people smoke crack and you shouldn't do that.
the world? Did I fucking just hear? I would rather Thunderbolts fail, completely bomb, but hey, it'll make up for it when Doomsday comes out. Then why not? If we're going to use logic like that, why not just release Doomsday then? That way you don't lose any money at all. I hate these people. Oh my God, fuck off. So, Jesus Christ, I never read something so retarded in my entire life. Hey, Sci-Fax, you want to invest in a business? Yours can fail, but mine, we're going to lead them to my business, and it's going to fucking really make us a lot of money. But yours can fail, and you can go to bankruptcy. It's fine, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, I oddly talk to you more than Bob, but I'm going to invest in whatever the fuck Bob is doing, just because... I know he's Hispanic, but he looks way whiter than you. I'm totally in on that. Like, whatever his idea is, it could be selling doors door to door, and I'm down. Like,
you want to sell door to door? You want to sell door to door in the hood? Go ahead. You might get shot.
Doors door to door. There you go.
Yes. So yeah, Thunderbolts is a failure. Anybody with half a brain would realize that. Sci-Fax, anything you want to say before we close the video out?
Yeah. How's nobody shot me yet? This is crazy. Like what is happening right now?
Aren't you black from the waist down?
I totally tell people where I'm at all the time. I mean, bring it on. No, I'm kidding. But
you said you were black from the waist down, and you dated a black girl where when you had sex with her, you pulled her hair out.
I've dated multiple black girls. And
I feel bad for you. Yeah. That's sad. You paid the reparations.
Well, there's a reason that I said it dated. Know, like
dated. AKA
that's past tense. You know, like
did you pay reparations for them, as in like for their first dates and dinner and shit like that?
I mean, I might have. Yeah. I paid for them to get the fuck away from me. No,
would too.
It was specifically the women in general. It had nothing to do with their skin color, but
yeah, they probably said the N-word after
obviously,
all their
I don't know if I need to say this, but
they try to get you to drink grape soda.
Hey guys, on the internet, I stream with a lot of black people. Okay,
sounds like I have black friends. Good Lord, a lot of I have black friends energy.
That's what I meant it to sound like. There you go. You caught on. Like, but no, I'm doing good, man.
That wasn't a question. You date black people. That's already bad. I can already tell your mental health is gonna be shattered. But
what?
Hello. All right. So, Bob, what are your closing thoughts on whatever the MCU's at right now? It's just
I am dating a black girl, and it's not that bad. So, but yeah, as far as where the MCU is at, the problem is apathy is set in with the MCU, and a lot of that we talked about it when we kept score of all the bad projects, and there's only a handful that we all liked, and that's the problem. And that's why you're seeing the diminishing returns. It's only going to get worse until they can get a consistent number of hits out. I've used this analogy on the show before, that it's like if you go to a bad restaurant or a restaurant and you get a bad meal, you're still going to go back. But then if you get a second one and a third one and a fourth, you're finally going to stop going. And that's the problem here with Marvel, is that you've got people that aren't going. You need to change your menu up, get those good meals out, or in this case, get good films out, and you need to consistently do it. You can't have just a one hit like a Deadpool and a Wolverine and expect everybody to come back because they got all excited at that film, and then them to come back and see Captain America, Brave New World. That wasn't what was going to happen. Yeah, that was a one-time thing, and the next film has to be a good one to get people talking about it, and it just wasn't. So it's not a shock that the MCU is where it's at, and it's only going to get worse because I don't think Fantastic Four is going to be that great. It might be okay, it might be good, but I don't think it's going to be a great film. I could be wrong. If it turns out to be great, I will say so.
On top of that, if you just look back, like literally historically, like the last Fantastic Four movies, so Fantastic, and then the other two that came out in the early 2000s,
great pieces
like
of
they've never done good numbers. Like people aren't they just don't do good numbers. So even if you went off of that, like, I'd be surprised if it breaks 500.
I think it'll do $500 million. I think it'll do a little bit better than.
I'm actually thinking it might actually do less because you got Superman before it, and you got Jurassic Park, and if I'm right with the whole, families can't afford to go see that many big blockbuster movies, they're going to have to choose either one or two of them. And the two that I would choose would be Superman and Jurassic World or whatever. Like that, those would be the obvious choices. And it's like, screw it. The other one's going to come onto Disney Plus in like two months, and I get it free through my phone plan. You know, they're just going to wait. They're not going to be jumping at the bit for that one. So
agreed.
Another thing to bring up, as I'll put on my closing thoughts on this, is I think someone in the chat had pointed out during this video that Blade is unknown. Yes, there is a way to do an unknown character, and if you have the right person and the right creative team behind it, it can work. But keep in mind, not every unknown character is interesting. There's a reason why no one cares for them. There's reasons why comic book fans don't care for them. But you can do it. It's not impossible. It's not impossible to bring up a character that no one knows about or cares about and makes them household name. These are not impossible things. But Marvel can't do that right now.
Perfect example, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but Marvel is
perfect example.
But Marvel can't do that right now. They are not the company people remember 10 years ago. They can't even do like surefire hits like Fantastic Four, which you would think based off the Fantastic Four, they are pretty pop. They're actually really popular. People know them. We're debating on if that's going to fail. So if you can't do unknown characters anymore. You can't do popular characters. You would just need to start over. If you can't do either option,
if you can't do the first Marvel family, that is the thing. One of the things that actually started the whole company, and you can't get that right, you know, or one of the things that is known for starting the company, you can't get that right. You're failing. You're absolutely failing.
Hit the panic button. It's true. Yeah. So I mean, Rob Liefeld, maybe, you know, Kevin Feige's did a lot of good for the MCU. I know he has, but it's time to maybe change creatives. Might need different people at this point, because it's not, whatever he's doing is not working. It is not. And for people to say, oh, it wasn't his fault, it was Bob Chapek. Guys, Bob Chapek only came in 2020. Everything is pretty much like Bob Chapek has been gone since the beginning of 2021. He's been gone. Okay, Kevin Feige's been here the entire time. He's had a little high highs, but low lows, and I get it. People are attached to him because he's been the only success story they've had like this. But sometimes all great things come to an end. It does. Keep in mind, this guy literally straight up casted. Who's the guy married to Emily Blunt? Oh my God, he's the person in The Quiet Place. Jesus Christ.
John Krasinski.
Krasinski, yeah.
Fans were like, John Krasinski should be Mr. Fantastic. Not the worst casting. Sounds pretty fucking good. Let's bring him to the MCU.
Yeah.
They kill him off in one movie.
And they turned him into spaghetti. Great.
Also,
good job.
Logically, that wouldn't even make sense with how, let's fix it. This is why Loki is such trash. Mr. Fantastic should look like John Krasinski, because that's how the variants are structured. They look like a Tony Stark would look like the Tony Stark in this universe, right? That's what they said. This is their logic. So even, oh, good Lord, I fucking hate the MCU right now. Jesus Christ. So it's okay. It's okay. I have the tools to cope with the real life throws at me.
They go against their own logic. They go against their own writing. And that's one of the biggest problems with the MCU in general, is like they can go against what they literally just told you 5 minutes later. Like they'll be like, oh well, we said this.
Kang will say, hey, I started the whole universe.
Only walk straight in a straight line, and then they veer off to the right, and then all of a sudden they veer to the left, and you're like, well, you just said they can't do that. It would be something as simple and stupid as that, but that's how their writing is. They're so dumb. It's like it shows that, for one, there's obviously way too many writers, and then not every writer is reading what everyone else is doing, and they don't follow each other's rules. Like there might be a good writer in the mix there. There might be somebody out there that's throwing out great ideas, but then it gets discombobulated with everybody else. It's like, well, everybody here in the writing room needs a voice. It's like, well, if your voice is garbage, for one, you should be fired, but on top of that, you should be disregarded at the very least.
Yep.
Yes, if the writers have blue hair and wear a certain type of shirt with a flag on it that says,
it's like, hey, MSK, what if they were gay and they just sucked all the dick in the universe? Can we throw that in there? And it's like,
I got you one better. What if the writers were people in the writers' room and they had certain shirts that says certain human rights matter? you need to automatically disassociate.
Like, you spelled it wrong. It just says retarded on their shirt. I'm sorry. That's how you spell that.
Oh God! If the shirt says "True rights" or "human rights," automatically get a knife and just you know what we used to say back in the day, like this. You know, just do that. You know, just do that because you know you're about to be battling with some absolutely crazy weirdo. Hey, yeah, we should probably base Dr. Doom off of Trump. Could you imagine if he's a stand-in for Trump? Oh my God, they're doing that right now. In the One World Under Doom event,
I don't have to imagine
Comics,
it. We're about to see it. Like, we're absolutely about to
Brave
see it.
New World.
If those rewrites aren't in right now, based on all the bullshit that's going on right now, they're about to happen.
Oh God, just could imagine that. Yeah, RDJ,
and it's going to go over like a lead balloon. You know,
could you imagine that? The Russo brothers are like, yeah, I mean, Dr. Doom was kind of based off of Donald Trump. We're trying to fight for the rights of immigrants. Like, oh my God, shut up! Just shut the fuck up. What are you talking about?
I want my people of Latvia to be able to invade every country peacefully.
No Latvian is illegal.
Or is it or Latvia or something like that?
Yeah, Latveria. I think it's Latveria. They could.
Yeah, there's an actual real country called Latvia or Latveria, whatever. But whatever. Dr. Doom's place is kind of like it has like an extra couple letters on it. I can't remember the name of it on the flag.
The average person will have a sign that says no Latvian is illegal on stolen MCU. I can guarantee you that this fucking signs are gonna be crazy. But yeah,
they're gonna be burning Captain Marvel flags. You know, it'll
just
we don't want to go. We don't want to go back to this. No, oh my
just
God.
Burning Iron Man, just burning Captain America flags. Oh, it'd be hilarious. Oh my God,
like this metal, like it's been burning for 30 years. It kept our house on. It kept us nice and warm.
Oh
but
God,
fuck that guy. Like,
all right, so yeah. Thunderbolts lost money, and the MCU is in dire straits. Hopefully, Fantastic Four will have P. Diddy freak-off parties with Pedro Pascal being gangbanged by a bunch of dudes. Yeah, surely we'll get people back into watching the MCU at that point. So, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, and please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way, you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're gonna sign out, guys. See you guys later. Goodbye. Peace. Fuck. Could you imagine? You said you saw Snow White. Remember, there was the ending of the movie is a Diddy freak-off party, and they were all...
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It was bad.
It's terrible. Like,
oh God.
Remember
Pedro Pascal's interview? He's like, yeah, J.K. Rowling's a loser. Yes, Pedro, the literal multi-billionaire is a loser. Yep, good job, Pedro. Really got her there. You really made her fucking really think about her life decisions.
Were you just making that the cutoff for the video, or are we done? Because
no, we're done.
We're still live. Like,
yeah, I'm just pointing out. If your name is Pedro, I think you're a loser. Just saying. There's certain names where you're like if a person's name is like Steve, or like Pedro, or like Bob, you're like, I'm just kidding.
That's all right. My middle name's Pedro.
No,
crazy enough to go out there and be like, my name's Master Swag King. I'm fucking gangster, dog.
Oh my God.
Like, yeah, if you're someone like that, like, yeah, you might not.
Are you calling me a loser?
Oh no, I don't have to say that to you. You have a mirror for that. Like,
yeah, but my mirror breaks when I look at it.
Well, then you have many mirrors after that.
Right, technically, when I talk in a mirror, my reflection talks back to me because I'm actually schizophrenic and I'm on crack.
You can see yourself in like 1,000 different distortions, and you'd be like, one of these is true, and what it is the liar. Like,
if I turn off the light in my bathroom, looking in the mirror, I can't see myself. I'm that dark.
Smile.
Okay, you know what? Look, that's one thing. That's one thing I can combat. He's not that dark, but he does look like The Weeknd when he tries to dress up nice.
Why is Miss Sparkles thinking I'm a woman? What is this? This is not right.
Is Miss Sparkles back?
Black?
No, is she back?
Blue is totally MSK's color. What is this?
She did one where it was like rose up a bunch of water, and then it turned me into like a way better looking person. And I was like, I mean, thank you, but I was like, that doesn't look like me at all. Like I'm very distinctly fucking white guy number 3 in every video game. Get it right. Like
she made one where like she literally had me making out with another dude because she thinks I'm gay, and it's like I'm straight. I have sex with women. Like what the fuck? Oh, Gray Poupée wasn't here tonight. He's out of town actually, so he'll be out of town Monday.
Hey, Gray, have a good trip, brother.
Yeah,
wherever you're at, man. Have a good time.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
Gray's jumped on a couple of my streams, man. I appreciate it. Like it's funny because nobody's seen the talking jar of mustard until I brought him around on mine, and I think people enjoy it because he's hilarious. The being able to switch it on the fly like that, I was like, I don't know what program or whatever you're using, but it's pretty fucking hilarious. It's awesome.
What the heck is going on here? Oh, good job, C.S. Johnson. Writer C.S. Johnson leading the group has 1,000 subs on Substack. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to create a Substack. Apparently, there's an actual big audience on Substack. I was like, but what would I post there? The videos here?
I don't even know what the fuck Substack is. I think I've heard about it, but I don't know what it does. Like, what is it? Is it like it's like a Reddit for fucking autistic people or something?
Good Lord, probably. Well,
I thought Reddit was already autistic people, but
oh, I want to put a huge W out for Ron DeSantis. He put out a video where it said if you get in the way of someone's car when they're driving, they kind of have the right to run you over. Yeah, what a base governor.
I'm 100% in agreement with that. Like I've been watching those videos where like people have just been getting fucking ran over. I'm just like, good job.
I mean, what else? How am I supposed to feel sorry for you? Like if you got hit by a car and you weren't expecting it, and it was a total accident, I'd be like, man, that fucking sucks. But if you're in front of the car,
of course, there's a difference between doing or like getting hit by accident and then being a nuisance to society. Like you're fucking up somebody's day, you're fucking up somebody's life. But what if that person is in an emergency? What if they're trying to get to a hospital? What if they're trying to do something else? Like there's a different like protest on the sidewalks or on the streets, wave your little signs, freedom to that. And like, I'm all on board with a lot of that stuff. Like I'm actually pro that, go for that. But once you start like impeding people's way of life, I'm not on board with that anymore. And I think they have every right to get you the fuck out of their way. And if their means by doing that happens to be a car, sorry, you're about to get hit by a car. Like
back in 2019.
What? Pedestrians only have the right of way on a crosswalk. They don't have the right of way in the middle of the interstate.
Yeah, so. Like if anything, it's like you should get hit by the car and get a jaywalking ticket.
In Minecraft, there was a black guy. Remember back in 2019 or 2020, the riots. Then the black guy had to get to his daughter because she was like really sick, and he had to get there to pick her up. And they were blocking him, and he just drove past them. He was yelling at them. Like these people claim to love black people or fighting for minorities. As we saw with that video recently, that one white guy didn't care if she was black. He didn't care. Ruining her life. These people don't. This virtue signaling lies that people will keep telling. They don't care about any group. They just care about fucking, I don't know, virtue signaling their nonsense to you. It's all fake, But we will wrap it up here tonight. Cyphex is going to go stream on his channel.
That I might do. I actually might do that. Like I've been gone for about 3 days. I streamed last night, but I was just playing video games. I'm not much of a gamer, and I'm terrible at the games that I do play, but I actually had a lot of people watch and show up, so I was super surprised in that, and thank you for, if anybody's here that's watching from there, awesome, thank you. And, if you don't know MSK, go ahead and subscribe to MSK. Also, Bob here, he does Bob Loves Movies.
Does he really love movies, though?
That's your channel name, right? Bob Loves Movies. Yeah. He does great reviews. Obviously he's suffered through like a tragedy lately, so he hasn't been as frequent. But he usually does stuff roughly at least every week. It does a bunch of stuff like that. Yeah. Go ahead and check him out. Obviously, I do reviews and I do random live streams and stuff. I might be doing one here after this. So go ahead and check me out as well at Cyphex. And check out all these awesome people, man. Even though we give MSK a hard time every now and then, he does good content. He does good stuff, man. He's fun people. So go ahead and check him out.
I got enough women that lie to me. I don't need you lying to me too, sir.
Okay, he does terrible content. We fucking hate this guy. Is that what you want? Is that what you want?
Okay. I'll check it out. I do kind of have an inkling of seeing. Did you guys see Ballerina? Did you guys actually enjoy it?
I did. I liked it.
Okay. It was actually pretty good. It was pretty good.
Cool.
I've heard some odd.
Hold on. While I'm seeing it in the chat, Emily Kruger says, I'm 8 subs from 600 subscribers on my channel. Emily Kruger is a massive supporter on all these channels. My channel, MSK. Yeah. Like, you can see her all over the place. She does a lot of like artwork and everything. Well, I think it's mainly artwork that I've seen on her channel. That's the main stuff that I've seen her post. She's 8 from 600. Let's see if we can, help boost that out there. Hell yeah. Like, let's support the people that support us, right?
Sure.
So Emily Kruger, like, hopefully we can get you some other subscribers. I always try to shout her out whenever I see her because she
does show up to every live.
She's the most constant supporter. Like, she's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Emily,
you,
Emily, I know a black man's never given anything to you beside, hell, beside EB's tea swiping and food stamps and grape juice and whatever the black people do nowadays. But yeah, make sure you guys go and check out Cyfax's channel. He is an insane clout chaser, but he does some good every once in a while, honestly.
I'm getting so many subscribers, like 1 to 2 at a time. It's crazy. Takes me like 2 or 3 weeks to get them, but they stick around eventually.
Good God. What else is gonna happen? Yeah, Bob, he'll be back to doing movies as well.
Hopefully this week.
Hopefully.
I'm wanting to try to go see the next 28 years later.
That's the one coming up. Yep.
Yeah, I want to go see that. So hopefully I can get back to that this week, because I actually went to see How to Train Your Dragon last week, but I just have not been able to get to that review. Hopefully I can still get it posted, but I'm also getting to the point where I'm like, I'm kind of missing out on my window. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to take the time to do it, being that I got another one coming out, or hopefully another one coming out. So yeah, I got to get back on track on that. But now that everything's starting to calm down, I should get back on track hopefully this week.
Yep. And as you guys know, for myself, I'm gonna basically, I don't even know what to tell you guys. Based off everything that I've written down for myself, I have a lot to do. So there's a to-do list that I have on my computer right now because I have a notepad that I write everything down. Also, it's good for you as a content creator. Just advice for anyone: write stuff down. If you have ideas for videos or whatever you want to do, writing stuff down is always imperative and key. That way you don't forget them at all. Writing stuff down makes you remember them better. That's why the only thing teachers have ever taught me in school, which was taking notes. Yes, taking notes is actually great advice. It's actually a really good thing to do, honestly. But for the comic book channel, I'm going to get last week's episode of Comic Book Market Watch done basically later on today. And I have other videos I want to upload to this channel and my comic book one, but I have just a lot of things to do. So essentially, when I do my outro of these episodes of the MSK show or the Cloud9 podcast, what I'm going to say to you guys now is what I will say moving forward, which is I will be.
Why are you gay?
No, no. Damn. Fuck.
Cry about it, bitch. That's what you do.
God. Man, Eric July back in the day was so good. Man, what happened to that man? He became famous and rich and became a millionaire. That's what happens. Good Lord.
Yeah, he can't be saying wild shit anymore now that he's worth millions of dollars.
It turns out when you actually are successful, you can't go on Twitter and call Asian women small-eyed fucks. You can't. You apparently can't do that, But for me, this is what I'll be saying when we get towards the end of the shows and I have to outro them, whether it's the Cloud9 podcast or the MSK show or game streams. I am streaming throughout the week. The MSK show and the Cloud9 podcast, and playing League of Legends, as well as uploading videos. So expect videos, streams. Oh, sorry. No, fucking hell. I'm ruining everything. Joking aside. So throughout the week, expect.
I'm fucking leaving, man. If you can't get through this, I'm out of here.
Whoa! Why are you yelling at me? God, are you projecting your white rage on me? Good Lord. But you are black from the waist down, so I can give you a pass for that. But no, all jokes aside, the MSK show and the Cloud9 podcast throughout the week, streaming League of Legends as well. And I am going to be uploading videos on this channel as well as my comic book one. I have a lot of stuff to catch up on as well as, things to do. So I'm going to work diligently on getting those things done. But thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend. And if you are going through anything, traumatic as far as like a life and death situation, I do hope
this
you get through it. Fuck you. I do hope you get through it. And I do hope you actually feel better. Don't worry. As a man, you must fight through it. We were forged in the battles of sorrow and depression. Someone said, why don't men get gift baskets like moms do on Mother's Day? Because we're not fucking pussies. I need a damn gift basket. What the fuck? I'm not gay. What the hell? As a man, you get a pat on the back and a pack of beer. That's all you get.
If I get a gift basket that's just filled with cigarettes and beef jerky, I'm gonna be so fucking happy. I was like, I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore, but I'm gonna be ecstatic about it. Mainly beef jerky. Just give me a bunch of beef jerky. I haven't eaten enough of that in a long time, and that shit's delicious.
And for any girl that says, why don't guys talk about their feelings outside of like literally life and death, which I've said is fine to talk about if you're a man. If it's regular, average, everyday shit, no one, to be honest here, no one cares. No one wants to hear that shit. I might like you and I don't even care. Keep that in mind. As men, we understand this without having to say it. It's like an unspoken rule kind of thing. If things are really bad, do actually tell people. But literally, when it's life and death, not, hey, I don't know, didn't have enough money to pay for my gas. What the fuck you want me to do about that? I don't even care. I'm black. I can't afford my own shit. How am I going to do it to you? We're all poor. We're all fucking clout chasing fucks around here. Joking. So thank you guys. Have a great show, everyone. Wait, that's me. Good Lord. So you guys are awesome and have a great night. See you guys later.